Wednesday
Man,
night.
I got to get me an intro for my night. I feel so
I'm gonna make one.
Inadequate.
That's my goal. I'm gonna make one. I will build one. Missy Fix, as always, evening all. First one on. Troy Barber. He's on. We got Robert with us tonight. Brett on for a little while. I sent out a bunch of invitations. If you guys want to be on, oh look, my wife is on. Let me send her an invitation to get on. She's about as camera friendly as Tammy is.
Boy, Tammy runs like a goose when you get a camera out.
Oh, Ariel just turns around and shows your butt.
Could be worse things.
Yep. So if you guys want to get on and you want to talk, if you've seen the LIONHEART, we're going to talk some good stuff. We're going to talk some bad stuff. And we're going to talk a little bit of, well, we're going to express our opinion about others' opinion. And we want stories from the wife. Which one? They're both bad. I'm sure they wouldn't be good. From Tammy or from my wife, Ariel?
That probably wouldn't be suitable for public consumption.
No. So if you've seen, I'm going to get it. If you've seen LIONHEART and you want to jump on and tell us what you think about it and tell us we're stupid for how we think or whatever, let me know. Either go to my Facebook and message me or send me, I'll keep checking my email on Arizona houndsmen at, what is it? Arizona, no. I'm wrong. Where am I at? Anecdote of a houndsman at outlook.com. It's on my phone. It should pop up. Or just calls Brett's cell number at, or Robert.
Yeah.
Call Roberts.
They can call me. I got 3 of them.
It's not a new movie. It's the original, and it's not LIONHEART with Val Kilmer. So this is just one. It's the one they've been doing. I would love to know how much they made off this movie as well, because if they made a little money off it, and it's helping the cause, I'm all for it.
Did all the money go to the Colorado deal?
I don't know, Robert. Do you know?
All the money as far as
is it just the profit? Like,
I have
I don't
no
know.
idea as far as what LIONHEART would donate to the fight. I don't know. I mean, this is their production, so I wouldn't.
If you haven't seen it,
They donate a lot.
it's like 40 minutes. Talks about hound hunters. It's supposed to be a documentary style to take the not. Oh, Dustin.
Did he fall out of the truck?
Not on. Oh, look at all them.
Are you all right, Justin? Are you all right, Robert?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I just figured I'd pull over here instead of driving down the road.
Let's watch you
Get him a
tree a
good
bear
seat.
while you're there, or a lion.
Dustin's on,
awesome.
but device is not connected. Might have went off. First of all, listen. Anyways, LIONHEART, YouTube. You can see it on YouTube now.
Gee,
We're waiting for Robert to get all crazy over there.
Are you remodeling your truck?
I think so.
Nah, he's letting all the puppies out.
Oh, there you go.
You're gonna hear some yelling then. Look at those
Can't do
puppies
that.
got
Can't
big
do
in
that.
2 months.
They'll start running a deer or something.
Well, on the way up here, there was about 6 bull elk just right down here. So,
Oh, really?
Ah,
but
nice. So if you haven't seen LIONHEART, go to YouTube, look it up. LIONHEART, right behind me.
Right, it's a Blood Origins on Blood Origins channel.
On Blood Origins channel on YouTube. There's some shameless plugging. I've had a lot of people ask me because I started Arizona Working Dog Alliance, and a lot of people are asking about New Mexico. I did get a hold of them. If you go, the guy is a loner right now. He has no help. Everybody dropped out. They're not doing none of the UKC things, which I'm not a big fan of UKC stuff. Anyways, bam, one more. Bam.
Holy moly.
I'm not a big fan of UKC things anyways. So
What do they need in New Mexico?
they
Chris?
need members. They need members.
I might not have sent my $10 this year, but I think I sent my $10 before.
If you got to get hold of the guy's name is John Rudder, not John Ritter.
No, Rudder. Yeah, I know him. I know. I do. I know him.
Yeah. So
kind of.
I said, listen, I want to help you guys out. I think we should work together. I think we should do a dual membership. My goal is to get 500 members in Arizona. You don't even have to show up or just nothing. Just send me some money. I'll put you on the member list. I'll send you an email. You'll be informed.
And you've set it up as one of those 5013C nonprofit
He's setting it
deals.
up right now. He's doing the C3 first. We'll see how it goes with the C4. It'll probably happen in the first of the year. In case it gets kind of crazy.
What's the difference between them, Chris?
It's all about how much you can donate. Now, the first $500,000 that you spend, you can spend 20% on donating to lobbying and all that legislative stuff we don't know about. Anything after the next $500,000 is 15%. So I can only donate $100,000 at a time, or a little more than that. 20% of 500, so 20% what of $1 million? I don't know. It's a lot of numbers in my head. It's still a lot of money to donate.
I wouldn't ever know what $1 million looks like, or 500,000 for that matter.
But if you're in New Mexico and you're not a big pussy, go to New Mexico Houndsmen Association at gmail.com. Email the guy. Tell him you want to help him out. He just needs help. He's by himself.
New Mexico Houndsmen Association at Gmail. I'm gonna do that right now. How about that?
Yeah. Just email him. Tell him Chris Watson sent you. Tell him Brett Vaughn sent you. Benny. It don't matter. Tell him you seen us on a live.
Is it houndsman or houndsmen?
Houndsmen. Right there on the screen, Brett.
Well, when I pull up my email, I can't see the screen.
Oh. And if you want to know about the Arizona Working Dog Alliance, you can email me at azwda@outlook.com. And that's going to be the website too. azwda.com.
Hey, it's not on the screen
I have
anymore.
the domain saved. Oh, let me go back. Oh, other one.
I got to make sure I spelled association right.
Now we got Robert from Colorado. This is the LIONHEART. Did that get kind of made for Colorado, Robert? Do you know?
I think it was more.
Or did it just get made?
It just got made.
Yeah.
Shoot, they made
just
that
worked out.
when they were out at Austin, out at the hay ranch, or not at my hay ranch, but right next to the hay ranch, filming that, and that was 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's been like 3 years.
so it's just kind of a coincidence.
Yeah.
Hi from North Cal, Mike Rich. Dustin.
I almost wrote Chris Powell.
What's going on?
I hope it's Dustin.
That is.
Yeah, can you hear me?
It's just Cold Strike gear in my phone.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
Brent just called you
Michigan,
Chris
Cass Ranch.
Yeah,
Chris Powell.
Lion.
Chris Powell's going to get an earful tonight.
I almost wrote Chris Powell when I said I was talking to Chris Watson, but I wrote Chris Powell first. He said,
Same
I
difference.
see how it is. I see how it is. We're both
One's
game wardens. It
one's
don't matter.
undercover and one's retired.
That's what
I'm
you get for
semi-undercover.
changing. That's what you get for changing snow to sand, there, Chris.
Yeah.
My wife thought that was funny. I said, look what I did to this guy. I said, he called me a dick. Not very nice. I haven't seen the one you're talking about. Well, then you're way behind there, Mr. Barber. It's on YouTube. Just go to YouTube, play it at 5 times the speed, and see here. All right. Anyways, we all seen it. What else we got? New Mexico. Help New Mexico.
I sent
Dustin,
my email off
going
right
on?
now.
Yeah, good. Can you hear me?
Justin, yeah.
Wow.
We're going
hear me?
to the Arizona sheep. We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, we're good.
So we're going to the Arizona Sheep Society it's a recognition banquet. It's not the big one, but we got to break them in small because we're going to be 2 tables of houndsmen, 1 table of kids and 1 table of bigger kids.
Heck yeah.
Chris
do
wouldn't
have
let
an
me
extra
sit.
ticket. Look at
Chris wouldn't let me sit at the big table.
Look.
He said I had to sit
No, I
at the
said if
kids'
Brett,
table.
look, this is
so
Brett's ticket at the second table right here.
I had to sit with the little kids. So
He gets along way better with kids. Trust me.
That's all right.
Trust
I got 2 that'll give him a run for his money.
Benny, you're
me
sounding
and
rough.
kids
Hope your
think
feelings are-
alike. That's the reason.
That's-
I don't know, Brett. I saw a 9-year-old girl grow up.
Yeah.
She got a little
She-
disgusted with me.
Oh, it gave him
that
the
was-
stank eye.
Coy's daughter.
I don't watch much TV. I'm not retired like some.
Hey, are you gonna practice goat roping before April?
I need to.
Mm-hmm.
I need to do something.
So, anyways,
I'm gonna go
me,
back.
Rowdy below me, and Dustin are going to that so far.
I'm not rowdy though.
We got 2 tables full. Or not Rowdy, Jared.
He's getting
Rowdy's
old,
being a little
Jared.
puss and setting up. Yeah, I'm all
Yeah,
over.
he's got a deer
He's
hunt.
setting up his deer hunt camp. That's not till what, the 5th?
Yeah, he's gonna. I don't know. I think he's gonna go try to get on that Tom again that was running real bad on him.
The one that outran him.
Yeah.
Tell that story. Is he coming
He was
on?
probably
might
he was
come on.
probably he was probably turning off his scent.
Maybe.
Should we just get that over with and talk some crap? Okay, we're gonna shamelessly plug Raw Dog on Tuesday night. If you go to 1 hour, off the top of my head, 1 hour, 38 minutes, and 45 seconds. Chris challenges the turning the scent off of a lion. Now, I get his theory. He says it's overstimulating dog, but he's talking about a kill. If you go to a kill and the lion laid around, but Brett's story watches the lion stop, look back, and go off. And his dogs go to where he kneeled down, that lion, and took off. And his dogs lost it right then. So there's not an oversaturation of smell there.
Yeah, I came into a lion kill one time and my dogs couldn't even pick it up. I mean, they trailed into the kill, couldn't pick it up around the kill. We had to do, I told this story before, but we did 3 circles before we picked it back up again.
Mhm.
Took me an hour and a half.
Well, this lion I caught the other day, I couldn't start it where she killed the dog. I couldn't start it right there. And the dogs knew there was a lion there. They'd been whipping their tails. They couldn't. I had to make a big old circle, and then kind of guess where they were going. Then I went up the canyon and they hit it and they trailed it up the canyon. But I believe that, there's just so much scent there. It's hard for them to trail out of it. And, and different dogs react different to it, I'm sure. I don't know.
Oh, we got some new meat here tonight.
I just couldn't. I didn't listen to it. Chris sent me the timestamp, and I listened to it, and I talked to a lot of dry ground lion hunters. I mean, a lot of them, and it's not that they say, all of them say, that's an easy explanation. They turn off their scent, but something happens. We know something happens. Either they go to sneaking. I think they go to sneaking. I think they're just kind of walking along, not caring, having a care in the world. And then all of a sudden, whatever it is, something grabs their attention, or they're going to go bed down, or they're top. I think a lot of times I think there's a combination of things when they're topping out. And, it's just like us. If you're hunting something, you're going to top out. You're just not going to go blah, 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 and walk over the top. You kind of sneak over the top and look over, and I think there's something like that there. So the scent picture changes for sure. That, I turning off their scent. That's just an easy way to explain it. But gosh almighty, something does happen, and it doesn't happen around a kill. And I would not dare go to Indiana and tell them how to run coons and
No.
be arrogant enough to think that I know better than all these dry ground lion hunters.
Well,
Never.
to challenge Dale Lee.
Dale Lee, Mike Root, Steve Smith, Larry Hendricks, Benny Griffin, Rick Dickerson, all of them. Benny, don't die on us here, okay?
Oh man,
You're getting me all riled up, Brett. That's kinda cool.
I knew it. I knew bringing this up. We got Chuck Thompson with us tonight. It was his kid, Cameron, right?
Yes, sir.
Cameron's his son that got the diabetes, and we showed his picture, and he got all excited, right, old Chuck?
Oh, yeah. He didn't go to bed till almost 2 o'clock in the morning.
watching YouTube videos.
Yeah, watching them over and over. It's hard to keep him in bed at a decent time anyway. The way all that sugar fluctuates, he don't have a normal schedule.
I bet. And he's doing good now, right?
Oh yeah, he's passed out in the back seat
Oh, he's
right
got that
now.
Good.
Yeah, for the most part. Except he gets
Chuck's the one that
sick and it gets bad, but
yeah, just got to keep an eye on it.
yeah, well, I mean,
Chuck's the one that
I had COVID a little bit ago, and it, stuff like that, I put him in the hospital real quick. But other than that, he's almost back to normal.
That's great.
Good deal. Good deal. Chuck's the one that asked me about New Mexico, or one of the guys asked me about New Mexico. So I started poking around. I got hold of John Rutter and told him, hey, man, I want to get allianced up with you and try to get you some members and build yours up. And I said we could do dual membership even. And so if you're a member of the Working Dog Alliance, you can be a member of the Houndsmen in New Mexico too. So work something out.
I've never really wanted to, what does that guy say? I never wanted to be a part of something that accept me to be a part of it. But I will. I'll see what I can do and see if I can help in some way.
I just think
Chris has me motivated to become more social and more outgoing about stuff.
Now, I don't know if that's good or bad, Benny. What do you think?
No, it's gonna be a total
I know.
fail.
As soon as I said it, I said, hey, you got to go look at this. You got to go to this 1 hour, 38 minute, 45 seconds on Raw Dog and listen to it so we can talk about it. So maybe Chris will give me let me see. Maybe he'll give me we'll get him on tonight and we'll have an argument about what is what.
Put in between me and Benny, so we can box his ears.
I would like some information. I would like some information on the producer of the film you folks made. I'd like to make one of my own since we were left out. Thank you, Jason. Jason Stoneberger. Is he on here? Who are you on here? Jason? Comment. I want to get him on. You want to come on, Jason? Let me ask him.
He was left.
Is he left out from who? Blood
I think
origins?
a lot of people. I think a lot of people feel like they got left out. New Mexico, Arizona, maybe even Texas, right? Brett, what do you think?
Well, I'm sure they can't. They couldn't cover everybody. I think if you look at it, I think they just covered like a band up there, went all the way into Nevada with Cleve and them. I mean, the high production value. I mean, really, really cinematic. And I know because I make videos, there's a lot of effort that goes into doing something like that.
Yeah, they spent a lot of hours putting into that. I've dealt with them a little, dealt with them with the UHA, but I'm also good friends with a lot of people in that video. And I know they spent a lot of hours doing it with a limited budget. And I think that limited to how many people they could actually go and interview and spend time with.
Hey, get over here.
I'm kind of curious. What makes any of us so special and spectacular that the world owes us a personal invite?
I didn't get invited.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
so if I was going to make a a show and try to show people that, you know, the hounds aren't, there's more to this deal than just turning loose a bunch of savage killers. I'm not going to spend 5 or 10 years interviewing everybody out there that thinks they're special.
Yeah, you have to limit it, I'm sure. You know, you don't, I mean, they didn't, like you said, he had a limited budget, couldn't travel all over the country and talk to everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when you're trying to, you know, they're toting a film crew around and everything.
Yeah, that's just,
They're not just
Yeah.
carrying a little GoPro camera.
No.
that's just,
No.
you know, somebody wants to complain, well, they didn't invite me, they didn't interview me. Well, big damn deal.
Yeah.
Is Jason complaining?
Well, how many?
Is Jason complaining that they didn't interview him?
Well, he just. What did he say? Let me see what he said. He said, "Hello, I'd like some information on the producer of the film that was made. I'd like to make one of my own since we were left out."
He's never caught a
Go
lion.
for it.
He's never gonna- But he's a
There you go,
houndsman.
Jason. He's a houndsman.
Slap dicks.
We're getting everybody riled up tonight. You can get everybody riled up.
It's that the guy, I guess the producer is that English
Robbie?
talking dude. What's his name?
Yeah.
Robbie?
Robbie.
Yep. It's Robbie.
I'll guarantee you, when I was under a rock, I had a whole lot fewer headaches. So, you
Yeah.
know, you want to start them and you want everybody to look to you. And next thing you know, you're being scrutinized, you're being watched, you're being snuck around. You know, I mean, to each their own, but for crying out loud, grow up.
I agree.
I've had
I
houndsmen
will try, Benny.
that came on. Never grew up, and told me they can't come on no more because it costs too much attention.
I'll guarantee you that work.
So I don't know. What do you think of the
Well, you
movie
get-
at least?
You get attention, and then like, I got a game warden down here when I first moved down here. He was leaving love notes on my truck for a month. Never once checked me.
Because you're a lovable guy.
Jeez.
You're pretty.
You just said, "Hey, I'm here." Because you're
I
pretty.
just get
It's
these,
the
I
mustache.
get these little business cards that said, "Hey, you missed your visit with Officer So and So." No number on it, nothing. And he just put it on my windshield wipers every time.
He was littering in your truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
big behavior.
I'd have thrown it on the
Right.
ground and took a picture of it and sent him a picture and said, "Why are you littering?"
Yep. That's what I do.
Oh,
Okay. I hide right in plain sight.
yeah.
It's better for everyone
I
to think
grew-
you're an idiot and don't catch anything.
Exactly.
what I-
Just play real dumb.
Yep. 'Cause I don't. My dogs run nothing but deer and Cotamundi.
I
Well-
think that if they did a good job with who they had on, if you feel left out, the intent of the film was missed. It doesn't matter the people, it matters the message. Let's talk about the message. Like if a non-hunter watched that, do you guys feel like it would have said, "Oh, I get it."
Yeah.
I think the part with Becky with the pups and everything, that's
Mhm.
super good. You know that. Of course, you got a woman there. You know the feminine aspect of it, and with the puppies and everything, and I think that would
kids.
work with a lot of people. I'll wait to say my problem with everything. I don't want to
It's
jump
so-
in too soon.
I'm not gonna say nothing now.
It's not.
What about you, Robert?
I mean, you know, I think for how much money they had to go into that production, because I think they had like 120,000 to do that production. And you know, all that traveling and all the camera work and stuff,
Damn, give me 120,000.
it
That's
eats
what I
up
was
that money
thinking.
pretty quick.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I think with the bigger budget, they could have done a lot more. But
No, they did great on
Yeah.
everything for the most part. You know.
Yeah.
I feel like getting houndsmen as the like producers might have, I don't know, swayed it different.
Told a better story with the houndsman producing it,
Or-
telling them what.
or maybe-
yeah.
Try to get someone that doesn't even know hunting, just knows producing, and see what they thought on it.
Yeah.
You know, what their thought was on it.
Well, get a really good producer, and then have a bunch of houndsmen that can tell the story, which is kind of what they did. But
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, Dustin?
I mean, I think it can go a little bit of both ways. I think they tried to portray the message itself good. I think they could have done a little bit better, but also the message wasn't meant for us as houndsmen. That movie was not made for us. It was made for someone that has no idea what the hell any of this is in the middle of the city. And so to hear it come to a way that would resonate to us, I don't think it's going to resonate to them anyway. So it might just be a good message because it doesn't resonate with a bunch of hillbillies that like to follow dogs. It might resonate with the person that's got a whole different outlook on life and on dogs and stuff like that.
But
I don't know.
How do they get it to those people? How does it go to those people?
Right now is the first time that it's been public. So really the only way it can get out there is with everyone sharing it and trying to blow
But
this thing
who's sharing
up.
it? I mean,
I agree.
I'll guarantee you. I mean, what I say is they're preaching to the choir. The houndsmen are going to watch it, and the people in between. Because I mean, I know this for a fact because I've done it for a long, long time. If your packaging is not, if you're going to try to do it through YouTube, if your packaging is not correct, you're not going to get to a broader audience. You're not going to reach that broad audience. I mean, I just released a video today, and I went out there. I had 2 lions that they called me on, and so I'm lion hunting, but I can't package it as a lion hunt, because if I package it as a lion hunt, the only ones who are going to watch it is the 7,000 lion hunters or 6,000 houndsmen that actually watch those kind of videos.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to package it as something else, as something that's going to attract other people, and then the people who they might not be houndsmen, but they get to sit there and watch it, and then they see what houndsmen do, and they have, that's a problem that I had, because I've made over 200 regular videos, that nobody really watched, and then till I learned how to package it correctly, and then that's the problem. I think it's a cool video. This cinematic and has a great meaning, I guess. But I'm anxious to see how it resonates through the YouTube world or through sharing. I mean, and that's everybody sharing it, but trying to get it to the right people, that it's going to convince them that we're not bad, if that makes any sense.
Oh, I agree. Being able to get it where it needs to go is going to be the hardest part they have, because it's easy to share among all of us. We know what it is, and we're going to want to see it and watch it anyway.
Yeah.
Like you said, to package it right, to get that package sent to the right place is hard.
Yes.
I think they did a
those
good
people to want to watch it. I mean, to get them to want to watch it.
Yeah, and
I think
I heard they had good success in Denver with non-hunters that came in. I know they interviewed a few after. I don't know if you got to see those clips.
No.
Yeah.
So after they showed it at a theater in Denver where you had to pay to go see it, and they packed it out. I don't think it was very full or a very big one. I could be wrong, but they interviewed some non-hunters after and got their opinion on it and how it changed their perspective on something they knew nothing about.
I wonder how many people they showed it to there in Denver. Did they run it like multiple nights?
That I'm not sure. You might have to have the Colorado boy chime in.
No, I don't think it was multiple nights. I went to that premiere, and I would say there was probably 150 people there. 150. And afterwards, they served like bear and lion, and everyone was loving it. I mean, that people that had been hunting before, even that showed up, they were all for it. So the people that showed up, it did seem like it worked good for them.
Well,
Do you think
That's
they
the
started
biggest
this production? What was that?
That's the biggest problem is getting people to show up.
Yeah. Well, especially if you're not in a thousands pack Coliseum, you're 150. And you need thousands and thousands, and YouTube could do the thousands and thousands. But do you think that they started this film before all this, and they just kind of said, "Oh, we're going to use this"? So now that they have kind of an idea of what they did and what it produced, they can make another one. And I really think they need to get more in depth in the actual life of a houndsman. Not a bunch. Maybe pick one. Warner Glenn would be a good one. Kelly, where you told the whole story from start to finish.
The story's so big. I mean, you're talking years of what it is, taking that pup to when and working him when he's 6 weeks to 4 months old, doing nothing but chasing rabbit tails around the yard or whatever, to running deer for the next 2 years,
Get over here.
to slowly getting it to hone in on just whatever you want it to do. I mean, you're talking 6 year span, 4 year span of ups and downs and accidents and
there's something else to consider too. If they're trying to show the general public that the houndsmen really care for their dogs, they wouldn't want to come to my house when I had 10 dogs in a kennel. Each had their own kennel, and the kennel was 5 foot by 10 foot, and then I had another 4 to 6 dogs outside on chains, because if we really cared for our dogs, they'd sleep on the bed with us. I mean, that's just reality. And so I think to get the message across to the people, you got to be careful. You got to be real careful just how you go about it, because people know that bird dogs hunters love their bird dogs. They lay on the sofa with them and watch the news. But who in the hell can have 8 or 10 or 20 hounds hanging around the kitchen?
Well, mine generally smell like skunk most of the time, so I don't really want them in the house.
What is Lauren? I don't think that people that need the message won't listen to the entire story. They need it in small, digestible doses and don't care about all the nitty gritty. What they need. They need a storyline. They need a storyline about a dog or about a person or about something that is going to, and then the hound hunting of it would be like the B storyline. And then the people are coming in for this other deal to watch it. I mean, that's the only way you're going to hit a broader audience. It really is. I mean, I was getting, when I was making YouTube videos, or I make YouTube videos now, but the old videos I was making, I'd get, 1,500, 2,500 views a video, 4,000. If I had a real good one, I'd get 10,000 views. When I was taught how to change it, I mean, I'm still lion hunting, but I have a place at a destination. I create a destination, and it shot from, I have a video that's got over 700,000 views. I mean, and those are the things, and then I have a broader audience, so I have more and more people that say, what are those antennas on those dogs, or why do you have so many dogs? And then pretty soon they're saying, oh, each dog kind of has a personality or whatever, and they say, oh, we love to follow the dogs around and everything. But that's if you're trying to hit a broad audience. I mean, if you're trying to convince people that we're okay, that's what you want to do, I think, some way.
What about you, Chuck? Chuck, you're from back east and moved here? Is that what you said? I got the.
Well, it was. Do what?
You live in New Mexico, or you're moving to New Mexico, or?
What's that? My phone breaking up.
Whoop, he's in and out.
Oh. Yeah, he got some bad service.
There you go.
Are you living in New Mexico right now? I don't think he got good service.
Right now, service.
Yep. So
Fat Lori has become famous, and let me tell you what, she is not a lion hound.
Still breaking
She's
up.
a hound.
yeah, you're still breaking up. And he's gone. Well, so
She's a character
you
in the
thinking,
videos.
So if they took something like Lionheart, the cinema part of it, and made more of characters, do you think that would help out as like
I think if
more
they
of
could,
a movie plot?
I think if they could stay with, you know, like Cleve and Becky, and show how they, you know, the different things they do, everything they'll call it the nacho moments, you know, where it's hard to explain, but where they're living their life,
Yeah.
and then how the hound and their hunting is a part of their life, what they do. And I know they showed a lot of that. I gotta admit, I didn't watch the whole thing. I kind of skipped through it. I've been real busy today.
Yeah.
But
what if they kind of made it like that show, that movie Unbranded?
Unbranded was good, but if you look, I mean, they didn't do exceptionally well on YouTube. I mean, and I'm talking about YouTube. I don't know anything about.
That's on Netflix.
Well, it's on YouTube also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it on YouTube.
I just remember when it came out on Netflix.
Yeah, I did too. I liked it. I mean, I thought that was cool what they did.
I didn't know it was on Netflix. Otherwise, I tried watching it.
Do something like that and make it just I don't know, cut it into series or something.
How they had the personal interaction between the guys and everything, and then and then they had some drama things that went on, you know, and stuff that created a, you know, interest or kept people interested.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on all the houndsmen on like mountain men? They always put so much drama.
I have stories about who was the first houndsman they had on Mountain Men. Rich?
Yeah,
Rich.
Dude, that wasn't even his house.
He just looked the part. We'll throw him in there.
Yeah. He had dogs and stuff. This is from when I lived in Montana. The guy I bought a couple dogs from and stuff. I asked him about them. He's all, that's such BS. Remember, it was like -10 and he had his dogs riding on the hood rigging?
Right.
You remember?
Yeah.
He was trapping rabbits so that he could feed his dogs, and they were big, fat, gargantuan white rabbits.
Yeah.
Well, that mountain man.
That,
sorry.
That shed and turn white in the winter.
He had that line, the 3 toes, his arch nemesis. He can never catch it.
Maybe they were feral.
That's the problem with reality TV, is that people who produce and make those, they create those fake situations or those fake stories.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hard to watch.
I can't stand watching a lot of shows because of that.
90% of your hunting shows are bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for mine.
I've been
Mine's real
all
deal.
about
on the
ratings,
recording end.
But that's what these, I mean, it's what a broad audience. I mean, so, I mean, without making it bullshit, you have to make it where there's some other storyline that will keep people interested, or at least make people want to watch it.
Drama sells.
And maybe a series where, you know, where you start out with these people and you have that weekly or monthly story that's going to come out about these people every month, and people get, you know, they get attached to them. They want to keep following them and say, hey, what's going to happen? You know, where's he going this time? What, you know, what happened to old Fat Lori? You know, is Fat Lori going to do anything? Or, you know, different stories like
your
that.
Insurance don't watch it.
What's that?
You better hope your insurance don't watch it, because they're waiting on you to break your back picking her up.
I know. I've already heard it. Poor old Fat Lori. It's like that. She just.
I think they should have had a better storyline.
Or another
Lionheart?
story. It's a different storyline to go with it. Something. We'll see how it does. I mean, it's on YouTube. It's out there. you know, the clicks and the views, they determine. I mean, that determines what you're doing, you know, and that's why I was curious. You know, 150 people watching it in an auditorium is nothing. I mean, that I'm sure they made some money off of it, but that's not. I mean, they've already. I haven't even looked. You seen how many views they got on it now?
I'm looking at it right now.
It's got 9,000 views, so it's in
good.
13 hours. That's pretty dang good.
It got shared a bunch. Like it was even on the like Nevada big game hunting pages on Facebook, that type of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
I shared the heck out of it.
I don't know if you saw the little one that United Houndsmen of Colorado put out there. We had Blood Origins do it, and just a day, like on Facebook, Instagram, we had like 60,000 views within a day.
That's real good.
Wow.
And that was just a 3-minute video.
Instagram's pretty hot
up there in Washington. So
it was like a short, how long was it?
Like 3.5 minutes, I believe.
That was the one with Bart George, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bart's a good guy. Heck of a biologist.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. We'll see. It's. I mean, it's doing good.
Mm-hmm.
So, should they have had more biologists on there and told the biologist story, or should they do one just with the science of it?
I definitely think, yeah. Well, that's kind of what we're having them do right now is, like I said, we did the one in Washington with Bart George, and then we also sent them up to Wyoming to interview 2 different biologists up there.
The problem with
for those to come up,
though, is they have very, very skewed senses of what they can and cannot tell. Brett has a story about that.
About what?
A biologist that whether or not they would say that what they knew to be a fact in public or not.
Well, read Ed Vance's book.
Well, you know, I talked to the biologist who's they've been doing it. They did it studies for the last 40 years, Benny?
Yeah, probably 40. They did
40.
10 years in New Mexico.
Yeah, they did this study right here in the San Andreas behind me, and then they were in California. Then they did the study in Colorado. Ken Logan is his name, and his wife, and they worked together. And I talked to him probably for, 2 hours on the phone the other day. And I was trying to get him to let me interview him, let me sit down and interview him. And I was more interested in their knowledge about the habits of lions and stuff, what they'd found out through all their studies. And I got their book here somewhere, and it hurts my teeth to try to read it. It's written in scientific jargon. But there's a lot of other guys I've talked to that have a lot of knowledge about lions, dry ground lions and stuff like that. They really don't care for him. I mean, they don't have a lot, but the guy does have a lot of knowledge about. He said he's the only one in the world who they have collared lions and followed them throughout their whole life. So they followed the lion throughout their whole life, all their travel habits and, what they did and everything. They collar them and, follow them for 12, 13 years, whatever. And he invited me up to his house. He said, come up to the house. He said, we'll sit down and we'll talk and everything. And I said, I'd like to bring my camera and my recorder. And he said, no. So probably if I had $100,000, he might do it. He gets paid for his knowledge.
Brett, who would love, they would probably sit down and let you interview him?
Who's that?
Harley.
Oh, Harley Shaw. Yeah, I've talked to Harley a few times.
I was going to say Jason.
Jason.
Oh, the guy that was complaining about not getting
interviewed.
Yeah.
Harley.
Rowdy. Hey, Chris, tell Rowdy about Jason. He'll get a laugh out of it.
Rowdy texted me and said, "Are you talking to?" He knew who you were talking about.
Oh,
yeah. He's a character. I hunted with him a few times, and then we had a falling out.
Imagine that, 2 houndsmen having a falling out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even over hound hunting. The falling out was probably my fault because I traded him a trailer because he's a farrier, right? And I can shoe my own horses, but I was just busy that season, and I needed the horses shod before I was going hunting or something like that. And so I traded him a little bitty tow behind like U-Haul trailer, a 4x6 trailer. I got to get my kid moved over here. And I didn't get the title to him soon. You know, it took me a couple months, and I just kept forgetting about it. And he got mad at me over that, and which is, you know, he has every right to be upset with me for it. But
Slacker.
I'd stopped hanging out with him before that because of some things that he had done and without me, not done without me, but like I heard stories about some inappropriate things he'd been doing. Yeah, boy.
Well, hell, if
Wait.
that was the case, nobody would hang out with me.
Well, I would have had the law. Would have had the law following me because they were following him.
Oh, you
That's the
guys
gist of it.
get up early and make big circles.
That speaking of interviewing people, I got to interview a guy who's probably, well, he's caught more lions with a flashlight than probably anybody in the world. And I bet there's probably only maybe, what, Benny, do you think 4 or 5 guys living that have caught as many lions as him?
I don't know. I think the only one that might give him a run for his money is Sam.
Derringer, yeah. Rick's that he's hunted lions for a living. Depredation. Well, he's been in Texas, and then he was in Arizona prior to that. And I got to sit down and interview him. And let me tell you what, now this guy was a lot of fun to talk to.
He's been in Texas for 30.
Yeah. But he's real knowledgeable and real forthcoming. You know, he doesn't blow smoke rings up your ass.
Well, guys, I'm going to take off early tonight so I can go hack my guts out.
Have a good one,
Drink
Benny.
you some moonshine.
You guys too.
Thanks,
you,
Danny.
Dang it.
Cody Lynn's in here bugging me. Want to be little short houndsman.
Look at these tattoos.
Look at these tattoos.
All tatted up.
That's what I got to deal with.
My
That's
wife
what I
thought
gotta deal
my
with.
wife
Law
thought the world of
enforcement.
her. She said she's the most polite kid.
Law enforcement. Just another pig in my family is what it is.
Yeah, fuck the police.
Well,
All right,
Jeremy,
Where did that come from? We
That's
got all
what
these
I
faces
say.
on there.
Where's Wayne? Where's Wayne tonight?
Where's
He's
Wayne?
not on yet. He'll be on. So, Jeremy, what did you
Yeah.
think of that, Jeremy? Because you don't got a lot of
I hadn't
lion
watched
hunters
it.
back that way.
I hadn't watched it yet. Some of us had to work.
Slacker.
Well, I'm on the second
Oh,
homicide since I
He
left
was
there.
lying about solving some murders today. Boo-hoo. Did you catch him?
No.
No.
Everybody's got amnesia.
They're getting smarter these days. Amnesia. Everybody has an amnesia when they commit a murder.
I forgot.
Then he took off on us, huh?
He's been sick. I mean, he's been in a
I
bad
know.
humor. Bad humor.
Man, being sick will make
Yeah.
you that way, though.
Yeah.
You need to hit that moonshine, clear that stuff up.
Speaking of dogs, Jared, old Jeremy's getting some black and tans.
There you go.
Just one.
Who are you getting them from?
A friend of mine down here.
There you go.
Yep.
Because who's that really big black and tan breeder? He's out of Utah.
Duncan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Calvin.
Duncan.
Well, Calvin's the son what was the desert?
It's
Kenny-
Ken Duncan is his name. Kenneth. Yeah. He's the original. Calvin's his boy.
Gotcha.
Duncan, black and
I have
tan.
2 black and tans from him. Actually, that female that kept winding something there at the rendezvous, that's a Duncan black and tan.
Mm.
I've heard
Yeah,
good things about them.
I love those 2 that I got.
Yeah,
Well-
they've made a name for themselves in the western parts for sure of black and tans. Most people, if you ask a black and tan, the Duncan name comes up for sure. I've never owned one. Hunted around a few. They seem like nice dogs.
But what's good about them? They look like they should be able to smell a 10-day-old track.
They should. I don't know if they hunt the dirt a lot. They're more snow. They up where they're at, I think they hunt a lot more snow. I know they chase some bears, but he's just had consistent luck with a good breeding program over the years, from what I understand. But I don't. Other than that, I couldn't tell you what's special about them because I don't like black dogs. So
This is free, so that's what
Is this I don't want to say it wrong. How come you don't like black dogs?
I just don't like the look of them. Just I never have. Nothing against them. Other than that, it's just I prefer a red tick or a blue tick over anything. I get real colorblind when it comes to dogs.
Yeah.
Mike
least
Leonard had those black and tans he talked about. Where were they from? When you interviewed him,
Who?
Mike Leonard.
Mike Leonard.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can't remember.
He talked a lot about him on that podcast. I remember.
Yeah,
that.
I tell you something about Mike. He's got like a photographic memory. I mean,
Oh yeah.
he remembers everything, every dog, every person, everything.
Yeah, my experience with these black and tans, the ones that I got, they have a hotter nose and they're fast.
Really?
Right.
I would think it would be like almost the opposite with black and tans, that they would be colder nosed and slower.
Yeah,
Just
not
look,
these,
just looking at them.
these 2 that I got, and then I got a buddy that's got some too, and they were, I don't know, a year and a half old maybe, and he was catching bobcats with them regularly.
I'll be dang.
Like they were good. And yes, we're in the snow, but still,
That's probably because I got Walker dog bred into them
Yeah.
somewhere
That's
down the
what it
line.
is.
they culled all of that out of there.
That's what I'd say too.
Brett has an amazing dog right now.
Man, I got a little bitch that's just, I can't believe her. I mean, I've had some good trailing dogs, but I went out there on that lion trap. Y'all should watch that video, because I even did a little thing about lion hunting at the end of it. We wrote up a little deal, and I did a voiceover. It's I got to admit, it's pretty good. But anyway, that I was 18, or probably 16 hours behind that lion. Dry, terrible. It was rock, but it was dry, terrible. Wind blowing 20 miles an hour. And this little dog is picking up loses and doing things that, like, not barking off track, being fairly silent, moving up there, 15 yards. Whoa! And then, working, then moving up again. And pretty soon the older dog, and she's a young dog, pretty soon the older dogs were starting to honor her because they believed her after a while. And has a really, really neat voice. She's only about 35 pounds, real tight flanked. I like a tight flanked, kind of racy looking dog. And she's just red ticked. She just ticked up. But watch the video. I see packaging on the video. It says, my video is, I don't even remember what did I name it, Chris? Chasing Freedom, Following Hounds, or something like that. And it's got me just sitting there. See, and that's another thing with packaging. If you ever think about how you look through YouTube, if any of you guys watch YouTube, you go through and you're looking at thumbnails, and then something about a thumbnail catches your eye. And then you look at the title, and that's packaging. That's getting somebody to click. And you don't want it to be clickbait, but you want it to be attractive enough and create some kind of curiosity where the people want to click on it. And that's probably 65 or 70% of the battle on YouTube, because you got to get them to click. And then if you click and you put a good enough hook at the front and you carry the storyline across, then you'll have people that watch the whole video. And then YouTube will suggest it to a broader audience, and they'll keep suggesting it and put it in front of people. But you got to get that. And then so this video was similar to the old videos I made, except for the packaging. And because I'm trolling line, I had two pictures. I mean, the rancher sent me pictures of 2 lions there in that little canyon. And so I just did the story of the dogs. And then I came across an old a solar well out there, but it's an old place where they pumped water anyway. And it had like a rickety old shack there. And that's kind of what I used to get people to click on it. And but anyway, you'll see that little dog, that little red tick dog trailing the first day. The second day, I got all those male dogs, and we trailed back and we got past the fence. But at the end of that video, and this was before LIONHEART came out, I made this video before it came out. I did a little thing trying to explain to the people who click on my videos that aren't interested in lion hunting why we lion hunt. And it's kind of, I don't know. It's something. You'll have to listen to it and see me, and you tell me what you think. If you get a chance. If you don't want to see a bunch of dogs barking at the ground and not catching the lion, just go to the end of the video and you'll.
But they're working.
We don't catch the lions. I mean, we were too far behind, and I think that place where I go is just a travel corridor. There's not much game in it. It's a little old set of hills in the middle of the flats that has some deep canyons that cut through it, but it's right in between these mountain ranges that are long ways away. And I think I talked to Rick Dickerson, the guy I interviewed. I called him and said, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And he told me the same thing. He said that's just probably just a corridor where they travel through. But anyway, that's all I got.
But they're working. They're working. That's all that
matters. Those female dogs will trail now. They're so track minded. But this little bitch. So what I've done is I talked to Benny, and then the guy who bought that $17,000 hound, I'd sold him 2 dogs earlier this year. And then I talked to Breck Bean. Breck Bean's the one who owned that dog that sold for $17,800, and he's got one of my dogs. He's got like a half sister to this one. And I called him and I said, "How's she doing?" He said, "She's doing as good as anything." And then asking where I could in the springtime. I want to take this little. Now I got to get her under some lions. I got to make sure that she trees good. She don't leave a tree. And she don't claim game or anything like that. I want her to be. I want to get through all those things before I breed her, but I want to breed her to one of the best dry ground dogs I can find come springtime. Because this will probably be I'm 63 years old. These pups will probably be my last hurrah.
Well, so maybe better story on LIONHEART, more of a story then.
I think. Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I could appreciate the cinematic quality of it. I mean,
yeah, it did real good.
That's cool. Somebody like me who makes videos, it's really neat.
They got a cool thumbnail and a cool title, so it's catchy.
Yeah.
Well, I hope so. I don't like it when they put all those. Anybody can put those deals on there that says how good they are. Those little.
Maybe you should try it on your thumbnails. See if it works.
I'm not that good.
Rowdy has a lion story, don't you, Rowdy?
Oh, you talking about the one from just this week?
Yeah.
Last week. Oh man. So yeah, I ran a lion all day Wednesday last week. Started them about 7 o'clock in the morning. I was looking at some deer because I was scouting also for deer season, which opens up next weekend. And dogs, they kind of went up this little draw right below a herd of does that I was looking at, seeing if there's a buck with them. And all of a sudden, they just opened up and turned 90 degrees and went straight to our left, and then kind of 45'd up over the hill. I thought they were chasing a deer, but they got out of, I lost connectivity once they went over the top of the mountain, and it was only about a quarter mile before they went over. I was like, what? Oh, well. So I took my time getting around. It's about 7 hours before I finally caught up to where they were. And when I caught up to them, they were working a lion track. So they had jumped that sucker within sight of the truck, 250, 300 yards. Took it about 200 yards from the truck, went over the top of the hill, and about a mile, maybe a mile and a half down in the next canyon, they lost. They lost about 1,500 foot in elevation, almost 2,000 foot in elevation, and then that's about where I caught up with them. But Tom had lost them for so long, he decided to make 3 scratches. So they were working those scratches right when I caught up with them.
He was trying to help them.
That's what he was doing, yeah. Giving them the old bird,
Yeah.
And so in about a 200-yard stretch, he made 3 scratches. And then, let me see the remote, boy. Give me the remote. Oh, I can't reach it. Sorry, my kid's DVD players stopped. And we're going into the sun, and it keeps getting in his eyes. You did it? So, started working him. I put 2 more dogs out on him. Then they ran him, or they worked him about 3/4 mile up the canyon. Got him jumped. He made like 3 loops, twice in that bottom. Then they bait him. Then he went and made did something I've never seen before. Just ran straight uphill for half a mile till he went over the ridge. And up on the ridge, he bait up in a mahogany thicket. Caught his breath, made a mad dash around the ridge, bait up in a rock pile. Caught his breath, and then made another mad dash for about a quarter mile and bailed off into another canyon and dropped about a mile off into another canyon to treat up in some cottonwoods down there. And then it took me about an hour to hike back to the truck, another 30, 45 minutes to drive around, and before I could get back to him, a thunder cell came through, and he jumped during that thunder cell, and they lost him.
How did you start him?
It's free casting. Just free casting the dogs up a creek bed.
A place that you've started a lot of lions before?
Nope, brand new country. I'd hunted the other side of the hill where this lion had made the scrapes at, so I knew he was in the area, but I was free casting on the opposite side of the ridge.
When you say in the area, how big of an area are you talking about?
Oh, it's a whole mountain range. Probably 50 miles long, 10, 20 miles wide. So I'd hunted the west side of that ridge, or that mountain range, and I'd never hunted the east side, and I started him on the east side that day. So the draw that I started him in was on the opposite side of where I've trailed him before, but never gotten him up and moving.
So when you started him, did you find a track right away, so you knew you were going right?
No, I thought the dogs were trashing on a deer because I just saw some deer right there. Yeah, he must have been laying there looking at the deer. What is it? Wait.
That reminds me of my dad. See, my dad would be turning around whacking me right then.
For the fly swatter. Fly swatter.
Well, he's only 2.5.
It didn't matter to my dad.
Yeah.
I was sitting between the seats one time before we had to wear seat belts, and I can't even remember what I said. But my dad was driving, my mom was sitting on the passenger side, and my dad just went whop. Mom said, "You can't do that to that boy."
My dad had a big old brass ring that had dice on it. And I think the only reason he carried that or had that on was so that he could whack us in the back seat with it and not hurt his knuckles. I had lumps on my forehead at the end of car rides.
Whoop, he froze. There he is.
Oh, did he freeze on your side?
Just for a second.
So you didn't catch that lion. Got away from you.
That's a
Yeah,
hard
he got
mountain
away from
range
me.
to hunt.
But the dogs had him treed 4 times. I don't know how many times. At least one time, bait up in a rock pile. But all said and done, he covered like 6.5 miles in 12 hours.
Did
Well,
he stay caught until you started getting fairly close to him, and then he would bail?
no, he would only stay treed for about 5 to 15 minutes, and then he'd bail and just make a mad dash.
I'll be dang.
But he
I've
never
never
Just
seen
one more
one.
dog.
I've
Leave
never
Kurt
seen
out.
one grab as much elevation as that one did in one pull.
How many
He,
dogs did you have on him?
At that time, 5 dogs.
That mountain range he's hunting is
The
nothing.
big
but
one? You
sage-
see his track and everything? He was a bigger
mountain.
one, right?
What's that?
What did Jared say?
That mountain range he's hunting is nasty.
What's that, Jared?
rough.
I think you froze up.
It's it's nothing but sagebrush and it's vertical. I mean, it's 1,500 feet straight up and 1,500 feet straight down. There's no little saddles to take. Nothing.
Yeah, it's straight up and over backwards. It's nasty, and not a whole lot of people hunt it because it is that nasty.
I lost a dog in there for 3 weeks one time.
Wow. Were you with the dogs? I mean, were you on foot?
So once they went over the ridge, and then once they found those 3 scrapes, I was on foot from there, and we covered another 4 more miles from there.
So did you go with them to start and then have to go back to the truck and drive someplace and then start again?
No, I was sitting at the truck when they started it. I was scouting for deer, and I was roading the dogs up, or I was hunting up a draw, pre-casting up a wash. Boy, that's enough. And that's when they started it. A couple 100 yards, at 300 yards most, off the end of the road where the turnaround spot was, because I was looking at some deer that were about 400-ish yards, and it was only about 100 yards from those does, watching them feed. I think what happened is what happened was the dogs were walking up the cow trails in that wash along the creek, and then they winded them because it was still it was about 7 o'clock in the morning, and the wind was still coming downhill pretty good. So they winded him, ran about 200 yards up the hillside, and then jumped him and had a jump race from there. It was the whole thing was a jump race, except for where he'd make a lose, or they'd make a lose, and then it took them that first 2 miles took them about 6 hours to straighten out, because they'd and I don't know what all he did while he was on that far side of the mountain from me, but whatever he did, he felt pretty comfortable thinking he had lost him.
Here you go, Tom. He don't worry about a whole lot, though, does he?
Yeah, he had some big old fat toes on him, like they were just round.
I'll be dang.
Home court advantage.
Yeah. Here, boy, put that over your face. Sun's in his eyes. He's mad. Not much I can do for him in the back seat.
Rowdy, have you been out at all?
What's that?
Or Jared, you been out at all? Twice I called
Yeah.
you Rowdy.
Remember that video I sent you of just me madder in a wet hen,
Yeah.
covered in sweat?
Yep. Arizona.
Huh?
That's Arizona.
Oh man, it wouldn't have been so bad. We were trailing this tom a little bit, kind of pecking at it. It was real humid, so it wasn't very good. And it's getting to be about 9:30, 10 o'clock, and I'm just like, all right, we're done. We're not going to catch up to him anyway. I turn around and I start walking back up the wash towards the truck, and I hear people talking. And I'm like, well, whatever. And I start walking up the wash. There's 4 different groups of Arizona biologists and U of A kids.
Oh,
Dude, it took me 3 hours to get back to the truck. I had such a cluster F going on with kids and puppies, and I'd have to like get all the dogs pushed up the canyon and like not paying attention to me and going up the canyon. Then I have to run back to the group of kids and grab a puppy and go all the way back. And I was so frustrated by the time I got back to the truck.
How hot? You say you were sweaty. How hot was it?
It was probably about by 9:30, 10 o'clock, it was probably 85, 88.
How about Rowdy? How hot was it when you were running that line?
Oh shoot, it's probably 40 degrees, 35.
Oh,
The
wow.
low was 35. It probably got into 40 degrees when I started it. High of the day was about 75, 78.
I got my male dogs on one of those lions. I think there was a female and what looked like a pretty nice tom, and I hit a fence, and I couldn't find a gate, so I tied my mules up. I had a pack mule too, and I tied my mules up, and that's kind of asking you if you went with the dogs or if you went back and drove around, because it's always a decision. You know, you're sitting there. How close are they? Do I need to just keep walking and because they were trailing pretty good. I hit another one of those big canyons, and they were trailing pretty good up through there.
Oh,
So I
yes.
I walked with them for a while, and then I thought, no, I can go find a gate. They weren't going nowhere real fast, and it's not like they could get away from me. And so I went and rode that fence. I could never find a gate. The rancher called me. He said, hey, just take that fence down. He said, and I'll come back up there and fix it. So what I had my GPS, so I had, I could pick up all the dogs. So I did a Cody King. I just sat there and I could watch the dogs on that GPS to see where they were going. And they just went up into those. In my mind, you make up stories in your own head. And I made up the story that lion was probably in a crack or somewhere over there. And those dogs spread out. They couldn't find it. But then it got to be 92, 95 degrees. And they were toasted. They were done. I just barely got them. I barely got them back to the truck. And I took the pack mule so I could pack water.
There you go.
Yeah. Luckily, it would rain the night before. It had poured pretty much half the night. So there was water everywhere that day I was hunting. It was wet enough that water was flowing in the creeks that didn't normally have water in them,
So when you had that much rain, was it overcast when you were trailing, but it was a jumped race, so you didn't really have to cold trail any?
Yeah, no cold trailing. It was literally a jump race from the beginning. They winded them, but it was clear, bluebird morning.
And that much moisture probably helps on a jumped race.
I think so, because they took out of there like they were chasing a deer. I thought they were chasing a deer because they were moving so fast.
Did you have your finger close to the shock button?
I did. I was like, should I?
What made you change your mind? Just a feeling? Which dogs were barking on it?
Well, the dogs have been doing good about not chasing deer. So I was like, they haven't chased deer in like a year. So why would they chase deer all of a sudden? Granted, they've been up most of the summer, and I've taken them out a few times to try to burn their energy about once a week or every other week. But I don't know. I just thought they were doing good and not chasing deer since last fall.
Yeah. It's always a decision to make.
It's a hard one. I was second guessing myself. It just worked out right is all.
Cool. I love to hear
next time
stories like that where you get all the details of what Everybody has,
You know,
different
talking to
experiences.
and we're talking about anti-hunters and stuff and movies but that's the real deal. They think you just got a Garmin. They think you just drop your tailgate, and they think you just go straight to the tree because the Garmin tells you where to go. And it's that easy. It's not.
Yeah, they've got all these fallacies in their head about how easy it is, and you just sit there and look at your Garmin, and you don't ever have to do anything. You can drive right to the tree, and I try to tell them, look, and I try not to argue with them whenever I argue with them on Facebook, but I'm like, it's not what you think it is. It's extremely difficult. Extremely difficult.
Especially
and then,
dry
what
ground.
would you guys say is the success rate on even finding a runnable track? Probably 1 out of every 10 tracks that you find? And then how many times you go out hunting to find those 10 tracks?
Where you're at, Rowdy, it's a son of a gun. You don't have the lion population.
Our lion density is so low just to find. If I went out, I think if I went out and hunted, if I hunted here, went close to the house, which is what I've had to do for the last few years, and it'd probably take me a good 10, 11 days just to find a track. Now, whether I could run it or not would be a different story.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
The lion density,
you
and then
1 out of 10 hunts, you find a runnable track, and then out of those runnable tracks, how many runnable tracks does it take to get one that you're able to actually treat?
Where you can get him caught. Oh yeah.
Or at least
and then I say that, and then I go out here just to exercise the dogs right behind the house, and going right down the high line wire is a lion track. Of course, you can't trail it; it's in the sand, and just cutting across the flats, going to another mountain range. Or then you hear you run into a guy say, "Oh yeah, lion ran across the road down here the other day. I seen."
But not all of us can have alligators. We send pictures to everybody with either, right, Jeremy?
About all we got. Alligators and rabbits.
Alligator raccoons.
I got plenty of them.
I had a rancher.
How's the raccoon hunting over there, Jeremy?
I wouldn't know. I ain't been in 2 weeks.
Shoot.
Oh, stupid work. Back to Jared. He has a good story.
I had a rancher. I was nothing against the rancher. Just didn't know better. I ran into her the other day, and she's like, "Hey, I found a lion kill the other day." And I'm like, "Yeah?" And she's like, "Yeah, I ran the lion off of you. He killed a doe right off the road, right next to my house." And I'm like, "You didn't call?" She's like, "I figured it was too hot." And I'm just like, "Not for one of those."
You tell her you don't need to be doing no figuring like that. Just give me a call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was mad, but oh well. That was by the time she told me it was a week ago. The kill was a week old by then, but
it's just like that.
Is it
when I packed in up there into that rough country? I packed and spent 2 nights up on the divide and fighting thorny locust and down timber and sleeping on the ground, and I ran out of water, and I came down off the mountain, and there was a Toyota there with a dog box in the back parked next to my truck with Texas plates on it. And I got down there and I got to talking to those guys. The guy's on Facebook. He's a good lion hunter and good. He has those running walkers, and I got to talking to him. And I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Well, we're over here bear hunting." I said, "Have you done any good?" He said, "Yeah, we caught a couple bears." And he said, "And we caught a lion." I said, "You caught a lion?" He said, "Yeah, one ran across the road in front of us, and I dumped the dogs on it, and they treat him." I said, "I spent 3 days up there in the middle of nowhere."
It was back at your truck.
I know. I should have just been driving around on the roads.
Yep. Is it amazing how many lion encounters and people seeing lions there are lately too? I don't know if it's just me or is it just they're just posting a lot.
I got a theory. I got a theory. Does anybody want to hear it?
Let's hear it.
There's a lot of people in the woods right now. There's a lot of deer hunters, elk hunters, people moving around. Because I went and caught that little female, and then those 2 lion pictures, and then I had an elk hunter call me. They cut a big old lion track and everything. Do you think maybe they might be moving these lions around a little bit?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
You don't
It's
think
because
so?
the hunting, like the.
And there's a jillion elk hunters in the woods.
In Colorado,
yeah, archery season going on, and those are a lot of walkers.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of
What's that,
wondered
Robert?
why all of a sudden I go all year round, or since last May probably, all summer around, never hear. Nobody calls me, nothing, never attract nothing, and then all of a sudden I've got 4 lions that they've called me about.
In Colorado, there's been a lot of
That's what
videos.
I'm saying. There's just, it seems like.
Go ahead. In Colorado, there's been a lot of videos of like archery hunters coming right up on lions, and the lions not even paying them any attention this year.
Just sitting.
Oh, I got a video the other day of a female with 3 sub-adults out there about 50 yards away from a hunter and is blind. He got up and got out of his blind, and the lion just walked off. They didn't run or nothing. They just walked away.
Well, that's the lion Brett. It killed a dog literally right in front of the owner, and she was throwing stuff at it, and nothing was happening. Didn't she even try to shoot at it with a BB gun, pellet gun?
Shot at it with a pellet gun.
Oh, but that cat was pretty. That was at the end of its line, anyways, right? That was the real skinny one.
That cat was starving to death. She was probably 6-7 month old, probably orphaned somehow, and couldn't make a living on her own. And was there. She found a little dog in that lady's yard, and she found a meal.
Old dog.
Yeah, poor lady. I felt sorry for that lady. And then she had her grandkids there, and she said, she called me. She said, well, I can't leave my grandkids at the bus stop now or anything because she's scared to death of that lion. And I would have no doubt if she had a little bitty kid, if it had been out in the yard, that lion might have tried that on.
Yeah.
The lion that is, I mean, it's just desperate for they don't.
And she's little and she stunk. She was a nasty little thing. I still felt bad when I shot it. I didn't, like I said in the video and everything, there was no glory in it at all.
Yeah.
There's a lot quicker what she had coming though.
Yeah. And I didn't even trail her that far. We just trailed her up the canyon a ways, a few hundred yards, I guess, but it wasn't that far. But caught it under a bush.
Well, once she feels like she has easy meal in the house, she's gonna start hitting the houses.
Yeah, she'd have come back.
You know, it's like a bear in a trash can. Bear finds a trash can and it comes back.
Oh yeah.
So,
We had a cat up
put
here.
your trash cans up.
We had a cat up here that got hit by a car, and about 2 weeks later, about 20 miles south, they found an emaciated kitten, like what should have been like a 35-pound kitten or so, and it was that cat that got hit. It was its kitten. Went 20 miles trying to find it, without its mom.
I think these lions get down on the river this time of year, but I can't hunt the river this time of year because I can't get across it until they hold the water up and it dries out, and then I can go across the river. But down the river further or up the river further, I ran into a guy one time, and he showed me a skull of a big old tom that he had found that got hit by a train. Was walking down the railroad tracks, got hit by a train. But that's right, the railroad tracks run right by the river too.
Yeah. Well, there's a lion in our town here. The fire chief seen it cross over and called one of the guys with the dog, and it ran across the road my buddy went over there, and he's just starting out in dogs. Dogs ran around, didn't do nothing, so he took in one of his on a leash to the tomb racks in there, and that lion was in the middle of town in those tomb racks. Swatted his dog, ran off into the houses. So, yep.
Someone's got a lot of background noise going on.
That's Rowdy. It's Rowdy's truck.
You keep music for that?
Yeah. I was waiting to see your mouth move. I see them keep moving. Chuck, what are you doing? What are you doing today?
Shit,
I'm down there. You got good service now.
I'm driving. Maybe I got good service now. I don't know. I'm almost to Roswell now. So maybe it'll stay good for a little bit.
Or you'll get abducted, either one.
Yeah.
I don't plan on stopping.
Yeah, you're living in New Mexico now?
No, I live in Central Texas now.
Oh, are you living in New Mexico now?
No, I live in Central Texas. I stayed in, I did a little work hunting for the government and stuff there in Otero County for a year or so. And I'm back in Texas full time now, welding, stuff like that. Trying to keep my dogs tuned in.
Trying to keep them fed?
They got no problem being fed. They're all fat. Trying to keep them in shape. The hard thing, it's been pretty hot down there around the house.
Yeah, what do you run in Texas?
Hogs sometimes, just to keep them in shape. But I run hogs for 25, 30 years with them dogs. I started bear and lion hunting, kind of veered away from the hogs. I'll start my young dogs on hogs, just give them something to run, you know, when they're 6, 7 months old. Then I kind of break them off of.
You caught many lions down there in Texas?
Nope, I never even hunted lion down there in Texas. It's all private land, and I don't know nobody with enough of it to run a dog on, really. I got some big leases out towards Louisiana and stuff, Arkansas and stuff like that, but I work on the pipeline a good bit, and I don't get time to go out there too often. There ain't no lines over in that country anyway.
Yep. So you just run on hogs?
Around. Yep, over there. As I said, I run a few over in New Mexico, run some bears a little bit. I run bears in a bunch of states, but I only line hunt. New Mexico is the only one place I've ever hunted any lions.
Yeah. Did you watch that Lionheart, Chuck?
Yeah, I watched it there earlier. It's pretty entertaining, you know, for me being a hound hunter and everything. I don't know that it would reach, I don't know that it would do a whole lot for the right audience, but my experience with people that are against all that hound hunting, there ain't really a whole lot you can do to change your mind.
Yeah.
It was entertaining for me. I liked
people. Not necessarily the anti.
If you look at all the movies with the dog owners, like look at Rambo. You guys remember the movie Rambo?
Yeah.
That guy, dogs on a leash, they were vicious killers, sent him in to go bite Rambo and he sent him to die. Or Fox and the Hound, the guy was a dick and kicked his dogs all the time.
Yeah. I don't think it painted a bad picture, and I could see how it could kind of influence people that didn't have an opinion one way or the other about lion hunting and dog hunting in general. I think it has potential, like y'all were saying earlier, if it reached the right audience, it has potential to kind of make an impact. But like I said, the people that are just totally against the hound hunting and lion hunting, especially ones that I've run into, they ain't a whole lot, they don't need to listen.
Brett, do you think you could take like I think Robert was saying it was $100,000 plus budget. Could you take GoPros and make a similar video? Maybe not so cinematic, but could you make you think you can make a similar video? And someone's already said that right here on this comment.
For
and do the same thing and probably even do better. Because like the last part of your video, it was kind of.
I think for YouTube, I could do it for YouTube, but I mean, but for the big screen, no. You know, you couldn't. I mean, you could probably. I don't know. These DS.
Not the big screen.
I've got a $3,000 camera over there, DSLR camera. I'm not smart enough to use the damn thing.
But I mean, what I'm saying,
every time I use it, it comes out worse than my GoPro. Yeah. I don't use a GoPro anymore. I use the DJIs. I like the DJIs better.
Come to Arizona.
We talk about you.
Show you. She does all that stuff.
Who does?
We talk about YouTube.
What does she?
She makes all the videos and weddings and that stuff.
Yeah.
She's got all that stuff down. She wants to make a video for AWD8.
What?
Just a small one.
What we're gonna do? My grandson's real good with the cameras and stuff, and I've got this thing in my mind. I want to ride that Butterfield Trail across New Mexico, and I want to make it as good as I can, because it's it's going to be an 8-day journey, and it's it's a big deal for me anyway, and we're going to go out and we're going to try to just film a lot of B-roll, a lot of what they call B-roll, and try to bring a more cinematic experience to the video and see what we can do. I'm going to try. I've been studying, these guys who make these real, cinematic videos and how they do it. And there's a lot to it. I mean, there's, they all try, they get close-ups and slow motions, and I mean, there's just a lot to it. And when you're by yourself, especially when you got a bunch of hounds and you're riding a mule, you don't have a lot of time to do stuff like that.
No. Do you ever watch the Donnie Vincent videos?
Donnie Vincent, I know he's
Sick Manta.
Yeah,
he makes videos.
I have.
He's very good. I remember this was a long time ago, but he shot a white-tailed deer in the Badlands in North Dakota. They shot the deer and they were blood trailing it, and the Badlands got that little creek stream running through it where he was at. And the camera guy caught a quarter-sized gob of blood on a leaf going down the river. And that was the coolest. They slowed it down and made it all artsy, but that was the coolest 5 seconds I've ever seen.
Yeah,
that type, like you said, with the B videos or whatever.
I get lazy. I mean, to be fairly successful on YouTube, you have to be consistent with your content. So you need to put out, a video, especially when I got 46,000 subscribers, something like that. And my baseline views is probably anywhere from 20,000 to 30,000 views a video. But to keep that up, I have to be fairly consistent. Now, once if I could get bigger, if I could get over 100,000 subscribers and my baseline go up to 75,000 views a video, then I could probably cut down to like doing one video every 2 weeks. And then we could take a lot more time making more cinematic stuff. Yeah. But that's it's just a line that you got to there on YouTube that you got to do, because I get paid for it. I mean, they pay me for making those videos, and here lately they've been paying me pretty dang good. So I hate when I miss a week. That's like missing a week of work. So my wife hates for me to miss a week. Right. She hands me the camera and says, "Where are you going today?"
That's just because she's tired of you being around.
Probably. I'd worry. I'd worry about it if Chris was my neighbor.
Yeah. You'd know.
Yep. I don't know. I think
you always get child support from him.
See, but I'm going out tomorrow. I'm going to go out tomorrow, and I'm filming tomorrow, and and I'd put a game camera up this canyon, up pretty close to my camp where I used to live, and I'm going lion hunting is what I'm doing, but the story is going to be going checking that camera, and then whatever happened, the destination of the camera, what's on that camera, and then everything that happens in between, and that's just what I'm doing. I want to check the camera anyway. I want to see what came through there. But the title and the thumbnail will be something about that camera, but I'll be lion hunting while I'm doing it. And if I get on a lion track, then the whole video will be about lion hunting, especially if I can get in a tree and get a good picture of it and fly my drone up there and do a little circle around it or something.
I wonder what
if it's a Tom and I shoot it, I won't share that. I quit that. I don't think that adds anything to the
Takes away
video.
from anything.
For us, we appreciate it, but for a guy, watching you just shoot something out of a tree, it's not
a non-hunter, not an
non-hunter.
a non-hunter.
Not a big deal. You
That's
just
on the fence.
say, man, that's a nice lion. Get some good pictures of it, and bam, the video's over with.
The thing with the anti-hunters is they share every piece of bad video or footage or picture they can. They don't show the not so bad ones. They show only the bad ones. So the non-hunters, it's shoved down their throat, the bad ones, the real bad ones. And it don't take long to make a non-hunter a hunter. It's harder to make a non-hunter a hunter than it is a non-hunter an anti, It takes a while. It don't take long to make a non-hunter an anti-hunter if you have the right footage.
Yeah, I think you're right, Chris, especially with footage. I think to take someone that's a non-hunter and turn them into hunting, you're not going to do that with a video. That's an experience. That's something they have to go out and experience in their life. But a video can definitely go the other way pretty easy.
Yeah.
Even
gotta make the video.
It's not hard to make a deer hunter, an elk hunter, or a dog bird hunter hate a hound hunter if it's the right video. Every chance I get, I take someone to the tree. I've took deer hunters, archery deer hunters to the tree, and they're like, wow. If you took every archery deer hunter to a tree with hounds, they'd have a better understanding instead of, oh, they ruined my deer hunt. And I'm not saying we don't ruin some deer hunts, but their deer hunts ruin some of our hunts.
Yeah.
I was down there hunting with Rowdy, and I'm hunting a canyon, and some dumb deer hunter sitting down there on the pond that I'm trying to hunt. Just like I ruined his hunt by coming down there.
Yep.
But he was cool about it because we killed the lions, and he thought I was a bird hunter, and he said them bird hunters, all they do is run around and shoot all day, mess everything up. So they don't like those bird hunters just as much as a hound hunter. Well, and a true archery deer hunter should love a hound hunter.
There's an anti-hunter that lives on that mountain.
The hippie guy?
That hippie guy, he showed up to one carrying a stick. I'm glad I was there when he showed up. I don't know if he would have beat my dogs or not, but I had this little female caught shoot 600 yards, 700 yards behind his house. He's got 5-6 acres and surrounded by wilderness.
Yeah.
And he feeds black bears with cat food and everything. But yeah, he showed up and when he showed up, he was hot. He was all, you shoot that line, I'm gonna kill you, this and that. And I looked at him and I just unclipped my little flap on my 6-shooter, and I was like, I have a gun and you have a stick. Think it through.
Yeah.
And he's all, I'm sorry, I'm emotional. I get emotional about these lions and this and that. And I was like, look at it. I was like, walk up to the tree and tell me that thing's mad and getting chewed on by a dog right now. My dogs are not even in the tree. They're 30 feet below it, 20 feet below it, barking at it. It's just hanging out up there. I was like, climb in the tree, get a close look. Tell me how old it is. I don't care.
Climb up there and pull his tail.
Yeah. And he mellowed out after that day, and I let it go. But I ended up finding out. I ran into him one other time. He in the 90s he worked at a lion sanctuary.
Oh,
He ended up taking care of crippled lions or abandoned kittens and all that stuff.
yeah.
But he's weird.
What about you, Dustin?
His cats have a place at his table with milk and cookies.
One of them guys.
Yeah.
Hey, Dustin, you had much problems with the antis up in Utah when you was up there?
Not a ton with the antis. More or less, I think the worst of it's just the uneducated people that'll pick your dogs up and take them somewhere they shouldn't. But it's definitely not as bad up there for sure. But it all depends on how close you hunt to some of those bigger cities too.
That's what sucks is when you're looking at that GPS and you see that dog going 35 miles an hour.
Oh man. Yep. But I'd rather that than the dog stop at the side of the road and not move.
Well, where I'm at,
that means they toss the collar and away they go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like where I live, it's a second home. A lot of people, it's their second home. So when they're out there running around in the woods, they like to pick dogs up because they're always starving or they're limping or something. There's something.
Looks
What
like
about you, Robert, up in Colorado?
Yeah. I would have to say it's the same thing. I haven't ran into no antis, just uneducated people too. I've had a dog picked up. We ran right behind this guy's house. He picked one of my males up, drove it into town, dropped his kids off at school, called me. I had already called the game warden because I saw him going down the highway, on the GPS. He brought it back and dropped it off at my truck. I was like, just kick it out there. Don't put it in the truck. Don't just let it out. Shit, the dog beat us to the tree. But really no antis too much. But I don't hunt the front range, and the front range of Colorado is probably filled with antis.
Yeah, I think that a lot.
You know what I think the antis are doing on the. I think what the antis are doing on the deer hunts now in Arizona is they're buying a tag and they're calling in because it's only a call-in quota, not a check-in quota. Because one of our units got 70 deer took out of it in a week.
Holy shit!
There's got to be some sort of checks and balances. That doesn't work out.
Well, if you go down by Patagonia, down here, they have this bicycle mountain, like Tour de Patagonia or whatever, where a bunch of people race around the mountains in their little hippie bikes. It's always on opening weekend of rifle deer.
Yeah. Well, that's why you can't call in you got to physically check in bear and lion so they can't cheat it.
Yeah, that's the way it should be with deer too, if they're going to do it that way.
I think so too. I've talked to a couple guys about kind of sucks that you have to abide by every law and more laws and more laws and more laws, but some of those laws protect you from them anti-hunters too, like physically checking in your deer.
Did you hunt elk and stuff in Utah, Dustin?
Yeah.
I was talking to a buddy, Seth Rockwell. He's telling me that like when you draw a tag, you have to wait 5 years before you can put in for it again.
On the certain units for like the draw hunts, on your general hunts you don't have to. Right. But everything in Utah is a freaking draw for the most part. But on those special like limited entry hunts or premium hunts, some can be 5 years waiting period before you can put back in for it again.
Jeez.
So if you want to hunt trophy elk, Utah is not the place unless you like to spend a lot of money and buy an outright tag or put in for 25 years.
Right.
Nevada's the same way. It's for some of the premium elk hunts, it's 10 years before you can apply again.
Yep.
Just watch your show, boy.
In Colorado,
My wife hasn't drawn a tag in Nevada in 6 years.
in Colorado, we could get a
One
trophy
deer
unit.
tag.
We could get a trophy unit tag, and then the next year put in for it. You probably won't draw it for 10 to 20 years, but you could put in for it the next year.
Hmm.
But it's a lottery system too, so you might draw it.
Yeah. Yeah, Utah's all point based. Everything is point based.
Well, Arizona's like that too for the big units. There's some units you could put in and get drawn for sure. But they had a lot of over the counter hunts. Like that's how I'm been hunting. I didn't even put in. I'm just over the counter hunting out my back door. And my son got a tag here in my unit, and man, he's out there chasing the milk, and no one hunts where I'm at. It's just a lot of, you have to know how to hunt it. A lot of private, and it's annexed. You got a little bit of state, you got a little bit of private. So you got to really watch it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. But
Did Brett fall asleep?
No, I had this kid.
He was looking like he had his eyes closed.
I had this kid send me a message. I give him 3 dogs, and he just sent me a message. Said, "Brett, thank you so much for getting me the dogs, man. I can't explain to you how much they mean to me. Freaking love them so much, man. They just rule. They're my best friends. Thank you. That makes me feel good."
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's just a young guy. He's a hard hunter. He just shot a nice bull elk not too long ago. He's a good kid.
Good.
I think we need a lot. I think we need to make videos to get the youth involved now to help save it even better later, because right now a lot of your people, you can change a few, but you can get to their kids, and you got to get those kids. You got to get them interested in the outdoors and hunting.
Yeah.
And it's not hard to do if you can get them in the outdoors, because once they get in the outdoors, they have a blast.
Yeah, I got this kid a Tom Lion when he was about 11 years old, and he's not been the same since then.
You ruined him.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
How do
So
they
I'm
hunt
wondering
kids in
about the,
New Mexico? Do you have to?
What's that?
Go ahead, Rowdy.
Oh, I was wondering about you're saying the antis are buying up those tags and calling in, reporting the tags. So they've got this Fish and Game or Department of Wildlife, whatever they're called there, and do they have a system for counting those tags where people just say, "Oh, I'm not going to hunt," or "Hey, I killed a deer," but it's not true?
No, they just call in and say, "I got a deer." There's no mandatory check-in.
Yeah, but now it's going to skew the recordings. Now they're messing with the data. Is what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah, but they don't care. That's one deer that you don't get to kill.
Yeah. But I understand, but now Fish and Game's going to have to start accounting for that because now they're not meeting the quota. So what do? Figure out how many people bought tags and didn't hunt, and then go that many more tags next year, because otherwise now
I think they need to. I think they need to do a mandatory check-in or have an app. I got an e-tag, so I claim it and it shows where I shot it, whatever. And it really should have to take a picture with that or something. Send a picture of it.
Yeah.
I think they'll go to mandatory check-in sooner or later. They do it in some units. Kaibab up north, they do it.
For deer?
So I think it should be mandatory check-in. It's going to have to be on the over-the-counter. It's an over-the-counter hunt.
That's going to get so crazy.
So I really think they're going to have to go to mandatory check-in on all hunting.
they'll have to have 2 biologists in the office 24/7.
Well, if they do it like California does, any peace officer, fire department, your butcher, they got a whole list of people that are able to validate a tag.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I think
and then I've been to
Arizona's
like
just a
Nebraska
game
where you
warden
have to go.
What is
Nebraska,
it?
if you get a deer, you have to take it into like basically the county where I was at. You took it into the sheriff, and the secretary at the sheriff's office would put a tag in the or on the horn of the animal or on the meat, depending
Yeah.
on what it was required. So
I don't know. They'll get stricter and stricter. Trevin Hall,
How's it going?
what you got to say tonight?
Just waiting out this storm, man.
You in Florida, right?
Yeah.
I think Louisiana. Old Jeremy waited out a hurricane one time on a podcast.
Yep.
So,
Supposed
Yeah,
to
ours
be
was
here
pretty
tomorrow.
light.
Do what?
So
Yeah.
ours was pretty light compared to theirs that's coming to them.
Yeah. It ain't looking good. I'm
I can
right
hear the
here in the
wind behind you.
panhandle. I'm right here in the panhandle, and it's headed straight for us.
What town in the Panhandle?
I'm about 50 miles west of Tallahassee.
Okay. I spent a lot of time over by Chiefland. Lived there for a little bit, on and off, working for an outfitter. I go down there and work for them in the winter.
Okay. What do you hunt down there?
We were doing hogs, and then we'd do turkeys in the spring, and then from there once we're done there in Florida with Osceolas, we'd bump up to Nebraska and Kansas and do the easterns over there.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a good time. Had a lot of fun out there.
Oh yeah. It's wet.
Yeah. Raining every day about 4:30.
Oh yeah. That's
well, every time Jeremy sends me a picture, I say, "What is that stuff on the ground you got there?" That's water.
Water.
What the hell?
Everything's always green.
What the hell is that? Did you watch that? Do you watch that Lionheart there, Trevin?
Yeah, I watched it.
What do you think?
That's different to me. You know, I'm not used to that kind of hunting. You know, but I mean, I thought it was pretty interesting.
You think they portrayed it good?
Do what now?
What's that?
It's a hell of a lot harder than it looks too.
Oh, I guarantee you. I guarantee you.
That's because Jeremy followed Casey Davis around down in Arizona for a little bit, a couple days.
I got a buddy I went to college with, but he guides fly fishing in Montana now. And I went out there in 2017 and fly fished, hiked those mountains, and it like it killed me. I'm a flatlander.
Yep.
Yeah, just the elevation.
It's no joke.
Sea level up there, that'll get you alone.
Yeah.
That wasn't a bad part for me. It was going downhill.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think they could portray Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico mountains, any of these mountains, Utah. Utah's pretty crazy terrain too, right?
Oh
Justin?
yeah.
I don't think you can capture that on camera.
It never looks as hard as it is.
It never does.
Yep.
There's a big difference coming from flatland, that's for sure.
When you're videoing, and you go back and oh yeah, you know, and when you're videoing, you don't get it.
I travel back and forth to New Mexico quite a bit. It takes a couple of days to get used to the mountains coming out of sea level.
Oh, you know.
It's like jumping on a trampoline, and when you get on flatland, your legs are all wobbly.
Yeah, my ridges the ridges on Onyx here is like 15 foot where I hunt.
Yeah.
We jump our mules
What's
off
the
that.
ridge?
Yeah, we call that a
Ridge.
ridge here.
Yep.
We got some ditch
Yeah.
bank. That's about it. And they're about
Yeah.
2 foot.
Anybody
You
see
know
the
that
mountains back over here?
Yeah. And they don't look like much, do they? But go climb
No,
it.
these things right here go from about 5,000 foot to 8,000 foot and maybe a mile and a half horizontally.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
the valley floor is
what are you
5,000
hunting?
foot.
What are you hunting
Me?
in Florida there, Trevor?
I've got some cat dogs and deer dogs.
Yeah.
Two
Bobcats?
different packs. Yeah, bobcat.
You ever get them Florida Panthers on accident?
Just what I was going to ask.
No, they're
There we go.
they're
Yeah.
a little. I'm a little north for that.
Oh, okay.
I think around there where
Good answer.
where Rowdy was talking about, I think they've got a few there, but they're more down around the Everglades and all.
Okay.
I've seen several videos, you know, people turkey hunting and catch them on camera and stuff. But
Yeah.
no, we don't have them up here.
Now they've transplanted those.
So is
lines
Louisiana and Florida kind of same terrain?
Yeah. Pretty close.
From Texas, right?
Didn't the Lee boys do that back in the day?
That's it.
Didn't the Lee
I
boys?
think it was, right, Brett?
Yeah, hold on. I got sidetracked. Sorry, guy.
Well, I'm gonna let you guys go. I gotta drive through about 45 minutes and no cell service, 30 minutes no cell service. So I'll
Well, drive
I'll
safe.
catch you guys later.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Rowdy.
Wasn't it Roy McBride that went down there and
See ya.
put some, or they transplanted some lions down there?
Oh,
Okay.
lost Chuck too. Might have been.
I can't remember
Is
now.
did Robert fall asleep on us up there too?
No, I'm here.
We can't see you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dark.
it's dark in Colorado now.
It's dark here, too.
I know it was all light over there in Nevada, wasn't there? Jeez,
Yep.
Been dark here for 2 hours.
Same here.
that's really kind of like it's really like heck of a panel because we got Florida, Louisiana, Colorado. Dustin is from Utah. You know, what I say, Nevada, and then Texas, New Mexico.
How's
That's all the
trailing
same
Bob?
BS.
Florida.
Every bit of it.
Trailing bobcats.
Yeah, like are they just hot get up go races or you cold trail at all?
There's some cold trailing, yeah. I mean, the biggest problem I have is finding which way he's going. I trail a lot of cats backwards.
Good. I'm not the only one.
The backwards is a good way sometimes. At least they're trailing, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Can't
And
blame them
it's
for
all
that.
about.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all know it's all about conditions. You know, you can ride for a week, you know, and never jump a cat. But I mean, but then just one
That's
day,
dry ground stuff right there.
Yeah.
You know, you look and
Yep.
look and look. You do big circles. You just can't. I always say hunting's lucky. You know. So
But Chris, y'all don't have any grass to have to look through to find that track.
no. No.
I do right now. That is miserable down here. And
All the seeds.
oh, dude, I'm picking seeds out of the dogs' eyes every time, and then trying to find a track's stupid. I mean, I'm in hip tall grass most of the day right now.
Welcome to my world.
Good snake. Good snake country too.
Oh yeah. I hate this time of year down here. It's hot and humid. Should just go up north, but I'm too cheap to pay for fuel.
Well, you guys got any final words on that Lionheart?
You know, it was a good video. Like what McLean and that whole family, the Meckums, I always want to call them Meachums.
Meekums is what I
Meekums.
Meekums,
That's what I
think.
thought it was.
That was real good. Him talking. I really like listening to Stan and McLean.
Yes. Who was the guy who got choked up kind of when he was talking about it?
McLean. That was
that McLean?
Hunter's dad.
Yeah. I've never talked to him. I talked to Hunter quite a bit. He's a good guy, a good kid, young guy. I liked it. I mean, it was cinematic and everything. Of course, you just kind of wanted him to do some more, I guess.
Well, the hard part is we've heard the same thing come out of every hound hunter's mouth is we do this for the dogs. We from puppies to this. Most people don't hear that.
No, that's true.
But,
So you think that was a good part of it? The message was there?
Yeah. For being just take all your knowledge of lion hunting out of it and just be a clean slate. And, you got opening scene, you got Becky with this puppy sucking on her finger. To the end of it, you see the dog's full grown and they're chasing that lion through the rocks and into a tree, and they're treeing, and then McLean's talking about taking Hunter into his first tree.
Yeah.
Stan had to ride him in.
I do have a complaint about it. Who was the guy that was hunting in the snow and wearing a straw cowboy hat? Yeah, that should be illegal. You got to wear a felt hat when the winter comes around.
In snow. Keep that head warm.
Yeah.
Can't wear no straw hat. We say that always looks like a wetback. You always see these wetbacks out here with a straw hat and a down coat on.
Yep.
That's
kind of like Jared's shirt. Kind of like Jared's sweater right now.
I know.
Yeah.
Like I'm
He found
sitting
that
underneath
there,
this vent in the house and it's chilling me out. Wife's got the house at 70 degrees.
What do you think? What do you think, Robert? You think it's a good message?
Yeah, I think it's a good message. It'd really be interesting to find someone that doesn't know about hounds and have them watch it and get their reaction. But that's same with all of our lion hunting.
Yeah, send it to that annoying Aunt Judy, the drunken aunt. See what she says about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I make
this mother.
My wife's not a. My wife's not a big hunter, and so I'll let her listen like the podcasts we do and stuff. And she said, "Oh, it's good, entertaining, just talking about dogs and whatnot." I'm gonna have her watch that as well, the Lionheart, and see what she thinks about it, and maybe a couple other people I know that aren't big hunters. So I'd like to know. I like to know what they think. I mean, they interviewed people there, and they came out and said, "Oh, I think you could almost do a series about it."
You could,
like they did.
Oh yeah,
and keep it just kind of rolling.
Maybe on Facebook, if people could start sharing it to sites that aren't, or to pages or whatever you call them, groups that are not anti-hunting, because they won't embrace it anyway, no matter what. But maybe that would be the way to get it out.
Just regular old city groups, the town of Payson or the town of Las Cruces.
Like I'm members to this on like a mule riding, and there's a bunch of dudes on there, that they go out and ride down a ditch bank a couple miles, and then that's their deal. They don't know nothing about lion hunting, and they're probably on the fence. Do what?
It'd be good to read those comments on that after you post it. See if it gets real hateful, or see if there's some arguments breaking out between people of what they think. I might do that.
Yeah.
I might do that tonight.
Do you
Just for
guys
fun.
follow that Facebook page called Mountain Lion Sightings?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
It's about 60-40 in favor of hunting.
Oh, really?
I mean, you got some Karens on there that, like that kid that just got attacked.
That'd be a good
last
place to
week.
share that.
Yeah, that kid
Yeah.
that got attacked last week or so. You got those people. Well, the parents weren't watching them, this and that. And then you got other people are just, they're California residents, and they're like, we're sick of them. I can't, it's not my fault I have to let my dog outside.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of people say, like, well, you're a terrible pet owner for letting that happen to your dog. Like, the dog was in the yard,
Yeah.
And then, but a lot of people, I've had some intelligent arguments with people on there, like, one guy, he kind of, I don't know, he was educated and I wasn't, I just got a stupid technical degree. And he had this big old, PhD, whatever, and he's all dropping big words. And I just told him, I was like, dude, I've been chasing lions for 10 years, and I've probably seen more lions than you've seen tracks. Tell me what you've seen, I'll tell you what I've seen, and we can compare. And he didn't respond back.
Yeah, most time they never do.
Yeah,
Keep giving the thumbs up, Jeremy.
Do you do the double and get the?
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
That's funny.
You got to have those hard conversations with people, and it sucks it's over the internet.
Well, I get a lot of comments on my videos and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, like I had one on this last video, you need to leave the kitties alone. And typically I put LOL or something like that, because I know that where they're at already. But somebody said that, well, the lions belong here. And, they go into more of a deep conversation, or trying to get a conversation started about it. Lions belong here, but cows don't, different things. And I just write back, I said, don't you believe that they need to be managed? And if not, why? And that's why I keep checking to see if the guy would respond to me. But I get a lot of that. And I try to engage them if they're polite. If they have the kitties or, you're cruel or anything stupid like that, I laugh at them.
Yep.
I don't respond.
Well, they're just trying to pitch a fight is all they're trying to do. They don't give a
At that point, yeah.
Yeah.
Get that attention.
But
they all just tell me I need better dogs.
Just one more dog.
Yeah. You're gonna have a good one with that black and tan.
I'm just
can't judge it on its color. What kind of dogs you run, Trevin?
Running walkers.
See? There you go.
Running walkers.
What about you, Chuck?
How do you determine which is going to be your Bobcat dogs and which is going to be your deer dogs?
Oh, well, the deer dogs, they're pretty much, I got the ones I've been running from some guys I've hunted with for a long time, and they've been breeding them to run deer with. So
they're pretty.
Yeah. I mean, they're totally different bloodlines. I mean,
totally different.
Yeah.
You don't ever have any trouble with your Bobcat dogs running deer?
Oh yeah. You have to, they have to learn too. I mean,
if you switched them over and let them run deer, could they run with your other dogs? If you switched them over and ran deer with them, could they run with your other dogs?
They probably would. I mean, if you trained them as a puppy, but
yeah. How about your deer dogs? Do you think they would be cold enough or be able to run a Bobcat?
Yeah. Actually, we've bred to some cat dogs before.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just to get that nose.
Yeah.
But
cool.
yeah, they're. But
yeah, it's still funny to me when when someone says they run deer with their dogs, it's still Arizona is just a no-no.
Yeah, it's big. It's big here.
Yeah. A lot of back east is.
And it's a real
What about you?
social event, isn't it? I mean, there's a lot of guys get together to do it.
Yeah, yeah. We probably got about 6 or 7 guys in our hunting party.
Yeah.
That's crazy because the farther west you go, the less people hunt together.
Yeah.
Even bear hunting.
If we had 6
you
or
know?
7 guys get together, one of us would probably get killed.
Oh yeah. I mean,
There'd be some good fights, that's for sure.
Yeah. What's your dog doing over there? He's trashing. Yeah. No, he's not. No, he's starting to lie.
Why are you?
He's broke.
Why
That
are
dog
you in
ain't
my
broke.
unit?
Why Benny has a spear.
Yeah.
That's why Benny has a spear. What kind of dog do you run, Chuck?
My bear dogs and stuff. I've been raising a line of big game bred plots since late '90s, and they do all right. Tennessee, North Carolina, all out in that country where I bear hunt. They ones I raise, they don't have enough nose really to trail in that dry country that much. And I got some blue ticks come out of Idaho, Montana years ago. Got some there's some crossed up bloodline dogs that come out of kind of Lincoln County, some older stuff there in Lincoln County, New Mexico. Work pretty good in the dirt. Sometimes they don't.
Who did you get those dogs from?
A friend of mine that used to have a ranch there. I got one of my main dogs from him, Paul Turney. He sold out and moved since then, and
Well, he was a
several
rodeo
years.
guy. He was a rodeo guy too, wasn't he?
He come from out West Texas, and he had a big ranch up there in New Mexico, and they lion hunted. Had some pretty good dogs there when he was up there, and I had some of the older stuff come back. I knew Don Milton come from some of his stuff years ago.
I sold a dog to Don Milton.
I hadn't talked to Don a few years. I talked to his son Cody every now and then still. We all kind of hunt the same country up there.
Don's pretty bad health. He had a bad ticker, didn't he?
He's had multiple heart attacks. I don't know, maybe a year ago or so. Don't quote me on it, but
even before that, I mean, when I went up there and hunted with him when I sold that dog, and he had kind of a bad ticker then. That's a long time ago too.
Yeah, they say he had a heart attack in the mountains, walked out and went to the hospital.
Yep.
Years ago, but I think he had another heart problem here not that long ago, I believe. Year or so ago.
Remember him? He had a picture he took. I think it was at Ted Nugent. He took hunting one time.
Yeah, he's a pretty good guy. Always done me right. I believe it was. I don't really know Tommy White, but I think that they were crossing dogs together, kind of stuff that I had. That's been 12, 14 years ago. And I bred some of those. I had a dog from Paul. Don't remember exactly what he told me it come from. It come out of southern Arizona somewhere, and I bred him back to some of that stuff. But he died on me this summer. Kind of set me back a little bit.
Tommy had 2 little female dogs that were full sisters to those dogs I had. They came out of the same litter. They were his lion hounds, his lion dogs.
Yeah, they had some good ones for sure. It's just, that's hard country up there in the Capitans and stuff to be trailing on. I'm kind of anti-mule kind of guy. I kind of ride a horse. If I can't ride a horse, I just walk kind of deal.
Time to kick them off. See you later, Chuck.
Well, I've been thrown off as many mules I ever rode. I had never had a good mule. I see people. A lot of those guys down Cloudcroft. They got really good mules. I just never. I never had any of those good mules. And they just didn't work out. Bringing horses from Texas, down there, really that great. You get them in that country. I bought a couple of horses years ago that come out of, New Mexico that were raised in that country, and they did pretty good. But horses coming out of Texas, their feet ain't up to it. That's the main thing I fight with my dogs too. I keep them on crushed concrete out there as much as I can, rode them down rock roads, whatever I can, try to keep their feet tough because that's.
Oh, that was it.
He gone. Guys, I'm going to
done.
go too.
He's
I
done
am
with his
too.
story.
I'm getting tired.
Yeah,
I
it's
got to
getting
get
late.
up and leave early in the morning.
What time is it over there? And Jeremy, you're 3 hours ahead.
9:30 or so, something like that.
So 2 hours ahead.
It's 8:15 here.
Righty, guys.
Yep, I'm gonna hop off too. I appreciate it,
Guys.
Hey, thanks you guys for coming on.
I won't say, since this is Chris's show, I won't say my usual sign off.
Say whatever you
Brainwashed idiots.
There it is.
I figured it pissed a lot of people off, so I might as well just own it. Guys, we'll see you.
Get some merch made with it.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
get
why I should
deported, Jerry.
have a T-shirt made with the outline of the state of California.
Probably make more money than YouTube.
Yeah,
probably
no
will.
kidding. Brainwashed idiots. All right, guys. Thank you. We'll see you.
See ya.
Jeremy, thanks for coming on. Well, that time of night, ain't it?
Yeah. I still got to go feed dogs.
Chuck, we thank you for coming on. Robert, I know you're there somewhere.
Oh yeah, I'm right here.
So
Yeah, appreciate it. I'm fixing to head on up the mountain there. I got to set up my bear camp tonight and everything. So
drive safe.
yes, sir. I enjoyed it. Y'all take it easy.
All right,
You
Chuck.
too. See you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Robert, you still got an hour drive, don't you?
It's only about 30, 45
Oh,
minutes.
is it? Well, yeah.
Shit, we never.
What are you doing?
I was headed home.
He has his dogs with him.
I know. I thought he was out at some bear camp somewhere. Or
I wished.
New Mexico lion hunting or something.
I wished. No, I take my dogs with me everywhere, especially those pups. They get to learn everything and experience a lot, socialize. We didn't even get to talk about lions shutting their scent off, and your thoughts on that.
Well, a little bit at the first, and then we got rabbit holed up.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I just said it. I just brought it up because Chris Prowl got on there on his raw dog. A minute 38, an hour, 38 minutes, 45 seconds. If you want to go listen to him, and he already said, "I'm a peel a scab open on these," but I think, and he says, "Oh, people think because I don't lion hunt," but I tell you what, I think you have to get out there and lion hunt a lot to learn what we're talking about when we say they turn their scent off.
You don't get it until you see it.
And it's not the, I think he's saying that the dogs are overstimulated on their scent and all that good stuff, but I don't think that's what it is. I think those lions know how to tiptoe.
Yeah. Well,
they don't do it. Like Brett said, they don't turn their scent off. They just do something.
When a dog gets overstimulated on scent, he starts picking his head up and bowing, but he ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got lions jumped, and you see that lion go, leave the bluffs, go down the other side. You're hollering at dogs. You get over that rock cropping, and you know where exactly he went over. Your dogs are trailing, but they're acting like it's a day and a half old, 2 days old. You know, they're just, and then they go a couple 10, 20 feet. They're not head up screaming like they should be, because that you're only sometimes 6-10 minutes behind them, 2 minutes, and you know.
Well, are you saying that they're all getting overstimulated too? You know what I mean? Like I can see 1 or 2 dogs, but they're all going to get stimulated or overstimulated, or something's going to happen to all of them, all 6 dogs, 7 dogs.
I've seen it with 13 dogs on the ground.
That's what I'm saying. So it's not just, you got dogs that are better than other dogs.
Yeah.
You got dogs that will just run it. You know?
And so I call these guys down here because I'm new to drag ground lion hunting. I've only been doing it for about 6-7 years. And so I'm no expert at it. I'm still learning. And I call these guys down here that are, they're born and raised down here. And I was like, hey, man, this and this happened. And then they'll tell me a story one time. They jumped this lion out of a rock cropping. The dog that saw the lion leave went out and caught it, treated it in the bottom. The dogs that were behind were cold trailing and pecking all the way to the tree, and they showed up to the tree 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
And he said, he's like, if those dogs wouldn't have seen that lion leave, we wouldn't have caught it. He's like, we might have once we got down into the bottom. But he said up there, we wouldn't have caught it.
He's
like,
and he's saying, Tim was saying my dog could over a bear scent. The bear scent's way different than lion.
Mm-hmm.
My dogs do that. I've seen bears run. You let them out and it's so hot, they'll go one way or the other.
Yeah.
Unless they physically see that bear. I see that bear and they'll hit that line and it's so hot, they'll go a long ways before they figure it out. Or you call them back and say, hey.
Yeah.
Lion, it's not as stinky as a bear, I would imagine. You know what I mean?
Not unless, if conditions are perfect, and you got moisture and the lion's only 20 minutes in front of you, but that's all different story.
Is there alkaline in the dirt right there for some reason? Maybe it sucks that scent up or some sort of mineral that masks the scent in that one spot. Like Brett said, hey, I seen the lion crouch down, get up, go off. My dogs hit that spot and scattered.
Maybe it's because that lion was up on his toes more.
That's why I call it tippy toeing. Is that lion tippy toeing through?
Because when a lion naturally, we've all seen the videos, he's walking sloppy footed in the National Geographic when he's not
being chased
or stalking or hunting or what have you, and his weight's back. His weight is literally back on his butt, not on his front legs really. But when he's stalking, his neck's over his front legs, his head's way over his front legs, and I don't think he's on his heels. He's up on his toes. And I don't know where the glands are, but aren't they up here more on them?
I would imagine so.
But, just like what Jared Nichols said last summer. He's like, the craziest thing I ever saw. We had this lion caught in the backside of a canyon, bait up on the ground, and as soon as we got there, it ran over the dogs and us, and we never trailed it again after that.
Yeah, what does it do? Or does it secrete a different smell?
Right. Something the dog can't smell?
Mm-hmm. But I don't. Maybe it's just a different smell. I don't think it's
the dogs would figure it out though. That like, oh shoot, this is this still.
Yeah. I think Chris was talking more. It's the dogs. It was the dogs. But I don't think. It's the dogs because you can't have 13 dogs that just all of a sudden they all stop doing it. That's my question.
I had a phone call 3 years ago. My buddies called me. They glassed up a lion. I shit you not. They glassed this lion up a mile behind my property where I have my kennels at.
Yeah.
And I load up the dogs. I was living in the camper out there at the time. I load up the dogs. I'm there within 10 minutes of them glassing that lion up. Now, mind you, my dogs just think we're going hunting. They don't know a lion's there yet. Nothing. They just think we're going up a wash. They hit that lion track and acted like it was 2 days old. I mean, oh! And then they'd skimmy around, push it for 20, 30 yards in 5-10 minutes. Oh! That lion was only 10, 15 minutes in front of us.
Yeah.
And they didn't see it jumped. They didn't see nothing happen. After 45 minutes of trailing, we hit a kill. Still nothing.
Do you think? I wonder if they rubbed it. Do they rub themselves on that ground to get that dirt on them so the less of the scent cells fall?
Shoot, I don't know. You think that'd leave a big old scent spot though on that dirt?
It leave a scent spot, but when he walks off from it, so much
Yeah.
dirt on him falling. Maybe not. I don't think we'll ever know. If we knew that, we wouldn't need dogs, right?
That's right.
Kind
We'd
of
be
the
having
same way.
machines to do that stuff.
It's kind of the same way in the snow. 1 or 2 dogs is plenty. By the time those 2 get through the scent, it's wiped out.
That's not so much in the dirt though. I mean, I'll have 8 dogs out trailing in the dirt, and we'll trail all day going one direction. Up, down, over, circles, what have you. And then I'll call the dogs back, and we'll start walking back to the truck. They'll back trail that line all the way back to the truck after they've already been through it once or twice. 8 dogs been through it.
Yeah, I don't know how many times we've ran cats, gone right through where there's 100 elk or a whole bunch of deer, and those dogs worked that track right through that elk and deer, where it had to have been stomped out. You can't find a lion track, but those dogs, smell it through all that elk and deer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
I think they do something, and they've been talking about it for 100 years.
We'll be talking about it as long as we can hunt with dogs.
I mean,
maybe too. It's something to do with how they lick themselves and their saliva that kills their scent production. Rowdy's theory.
I'm going to have to call Rowdy after this, and he's going to have to elaborate on that.
Well, he's saying they clean themselves, and maybe the saliva.
Have you ever smelled lion? Have you ever gotten in a cedar tree with a lion?
Well, I've been in canyons where you can smell cat piss.
Yeah, well,
like cat.
Not that, but have you ever poked fun at a lion and gotten close to it?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
You can smell their breath.
Yeah, you can.
I mean, that thing smells like a litter box that hasn't been checked in 2 weeks.
How do they lick themselves while you're running them?
I don't know.
Yeah.
They don't have time to stop cleaning themselves.
Jared, my dogs backtrack me out from a truck.
From a tree.
Yeah. I don't get it. Is he talking about when I said they trail that line back towards my truck?
Jared, my dog's backtracked me out of from the tree. So maybe he's saying he still smells them. Dogs can differentiate. I think what he's saying is dogs can differentiate the smells. So.
Well, yeah, but they're still open and going back to the truck.
Oh yeah, when they hit those tracks, yeah, definitely.
In the dirt.
Yeah.
I mean, you can run 8 dogs through the dirt, and it won't mess that scent up for some reason.
Yeah.
I mean, I've made loses and gone back a half mile and restarted it.
Yeah.
Well,
I get it in the snow. I've hunted the snow where you're trying to get a puppy started in it in the lion track after you just put 3 good dogs on it.
Yeah.
It can be hard in the snow because dogs go through it all, knock it all down, and
I don't know. I'm not a lion and I'm not a dog, so I guess you just have to rely on the dogs.
It's true.
Maybe Chris Powell's just his experience has been with plots and walkers, probably.
Oh, you done pissed Rowdy off, Jared.
Damn it. I made it home, guys. I hauled butt. I was doing 80 miles an hour. So, trying to elaborate on what I was saying there is, I think some of those lions we have a harder time trailing because maybe they just clean themselves or they clean themselves a lot, Some cats clean themselves more than others. So if you look at their tongues, right, they have all those little barbs on their tongues.
Yeah.
What do you think that's for? It's for cleaning themselves, right? They're number one, they're pulling all that dead hair off. We know they get hairballs, right?
Yeah.
Number two, those little whatever you want to call them, looking things on their tongue, get in between the hairs, and they're catching all those skin rafts, and they're eating it, right? So therefore, there's going to be less falling off. Plus, it's like brushing all that hair and getting it wet, and then it like sticks to itself, right? So therefore, less hair is going to fall off because it's got that saliva there to hold it. Whether it dries and still kind of holds it there. But I think you're right with the walking up on their toes because of the gland, right? So it's going to be on the back of their front legs, and then I don't think they have glands on their back legs. I think they're on their front legs, right? So that's why they're always doing this kind of thing.
Okay.
But that's just a theory. So I've got a hide in the freezer I need to thaw out and exactly like figure out where those glands are. And the next lion I kill, I'm going to figure out exactly where those glands are.
Well, you're allowed 2 a year.
Yeah. Well, I've already killed one this year, so he's in the freezer. I got to get through to March 1st, right?
That's true. March 1st.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's my theory is how often that cat actually cleans itself and when the last time it cleaned itself was. So you're going to have some cats that'll smell more because maybe it's been longer since they cleaned themselves. And then like you were saying, whenever you got one in a tree, right? And it's now stressed because now it's got a human 10 feet, 20, 30 feet from it. So now it's going to excrete more of that stink off of its glands, right?
I don't know, because Jared Nichols had one on the ground, and it ran right over him and the dogs, and they couldn't trail it back the other way.
I haven't had that situation yet.
And I've jumped lions out of trees and not be able to catch them again in the dirt.
Yeah.
And it's the dog. I'm talking dogs go 100 yards and come back like, what the shit just happened?
Huh.
And I'll tie them up and we'll sit there and I'll water them. And I can get some barks going again, but I usually don't ever catch that lion again.
Makes sense.
Oh, lost him.
Lost
Yeah.
him.
Well, he got a phone call is what he got.
Okay, Ben.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
What do you think?
It'd always be a mystery. I thought it was entertaining a little bit, Chris's theory about it. So,
Yeah.
But I think he his remark was kind of like, this is what I think.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
I don't think you
some
understand it until you're watching it and it happens in front of you.
And you still have to figure out
And you still
exactly
don't understand it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. That's my best guess is, they clean themselves often. Those glands, whenever they sneak, they get up on their toes. So the oils that are on the back of their paws, back of their rear pads, they're not coming in contact with the ground anymore. So therefore they leave a lot less scent. And then when they're sneaking, they're not taking those full range of movements and less hair falls off. So.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know.
I think it's just like the whole why they make scratches, which direction they're going to go in the scratches. Do they use their front or back feet? I'm sure some lions use their front and some use their back. I think if you took 1,000 lions and put video on them, you'd see they all scratch different. Similar.
Absolutely.
But different,
Yeah.
But
I'm still trying to figure out what Dale Lee meant when he said you better figure out why a lion scratches if you want to be a lion hunter. Because I thought I knew, but now I'm questioning.
I think every scratch is a signature.
It is.
And it's
as a lion hunter, we all know that.
Yeah.
What does Dale know that we don't know?
1,000 lions under his belt.
Yeah.
You know, he just watches them. So anyway, that's our theories. That's what we got. I think everybody's going to bed anyways. We're down to like 16 people.
Yeah, don't blame them.
Yeah, I gotta
Dinner
probably get and
time.
make sure everybody did. Yeah, exactly. I haven't ate either. Well, thanks
Neither
guys
have
for
I.
coming on. We'll do it
Yeah,
again.
thanks for having me.
All righty, man.
So, all righty. Robert, thanks for coming on.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks.
And we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
Sounds good.
See ya.
All right.
See ya.
All righty. Bighorn Sheep Society dinners this weekend. If you're going and you told me you're going, you might want to message me so I can start distributing tickets. We almost got the kids' table filled up. So we got 2 tables, 20 houndsmen going to be there, 10 kids, hopefully. I invited the biologist. Hopefully he'll show up. If you guys have any questions, anecdoteofahoundsman@outlook.com. And if you have any show ideas, anecdoteofahoundsman@outlook.com. My dog's trying to catch something. I appreciate everybody for coming, and I guess we'll see you next week, Monday, Wednesday. That's about it. Well, remember, keep your powder dry and stay safe out there.